And it's true that there are 4 stages. It's almost 5 stages to real estate investing. One is you just kind of want to get in. So you're on the outside looking in. Who has real estate investor friends who are really rich? And, like watching them get a little jealous of all the stuff they got. Yeah, it's cool. The vacations, the freedom. Maybe they live in Florida, just enjoying themselves. And then there's the other group that like gets in. You got those investors who are either agents or they're wholesalers and they're doing deals and they're transacting. And again, now they're hanging with even more rich people and they're like, man, like maybe I should be one of those guys, like doing the flips and the buy and holds. And then there's the guys who finally do commit to, and by the way, I say guys, but I mean all the people, women, guys, theys, who jump into owning, doing flips where they're making that cash, 25,000 checks, $100,000 checks, $200,000 checks from flipping real estate. So that's 3 levels so far. But then you got the 4th level, the buy and hold, right? The buy and hold, we're boring. We're rich, but we're boring. We just like, keep holding it. We're looking at little checks from the rents. We refinance our properties occasionally. We 1031 exchange our properties. We're all about maximizing everything. We love tax advantages. We love taking advantage of the bank. We love anything that involves cash flow coming in again and again and again. We're essentially the laziest of the investors, except for phase 5. Phase 5 is the truly passive investor. This is the hard money lender. This is the private money lender. This is the LP on a deal. This is the person who gets to the point where they said, you know what? I have a boatload of cash, which means I don't have to do any of the work anymore. Hands to the camera if you know everybody's goal is to actually get to level 5.
Hey,
That's
Walter,
really
I got to tell you a funny story. A guy I met today, he had a property in San Francisco, and he decided, you know what I'm going to do? It was 1.9 million. He sold it, and he said, screw this. If I just sell it and put it into smaller rental properties, he now has $12,000 a month passive income, and he can live anywhere he wants. He says, screw it. I don't have to work anymore. Just sell his personal house in San Francisco. And being that Boston is up there in that market, I mean, it doesn't take much, many houses to have that passive income to live the lifestyle you want. I just want to share that. So I meet guys doing that. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Hands to the camera if you know there's plenty of people with that story. And there should be more. There's a lot of people who aren't doing it, but should be doing it. They're sitting on $1 million in cash because the house they bought in Dorchester for $100,000, 20 years ago is now worth $1 million or 1.2 million. And they're sitting on basically $1.2 million in equity, and they have no idea what to do with it. And they're not going to pay taxes because they lived in the house their entire lives. So it's a owner occupied, no tax on that property, except maybe over $500,000 they pay some tax on it. But that's a common scenario in Boston right now, and they want to invest in real estate, and they'd be perfectly content making 6% interest on that $1 million that they've never had access to before. They've never had access to this. And so when you go and sell or finance a property and are able to pay them essentially $60,000 a year, or if you did 8% interest, that's $80,000 a year. You're talking about being able to pay them into their retirement. And scam, if you know, there's a lot of money in the market right now because of appreciation, because of inflation. Yes. So there's a lot of really good stuff out there. Duncan, are we? Yeah, we got our speakers in the room already. And we're going to go through our PowerPoint. I saw there was some changes in the PowerPoint.
I haven't seen Marco yet, but Linda is, who's his right-hand person. So yeah, if we can start our PowerPoint, we have announcements first before we get into the educational part, because we have a lot of things to share with you. Hey, just very excited. Walter's accepted to go represent us at our National Real Estate Investors Conference up in Milwaukee in the mid-year. So we're really excited about having him. He's going to be in front of 150 of the other REIAs representing Boston. So him and Drina are going to go. So we're excited about that. So he's going to bring back a lot of good news in a couple months from that, because we still have to have the event. But yeah, so we're just going to share the announcements, what's going on right now. So yeah, one more.
By the way, let's give Duncan and Kelly a round of applause. They sent us a message, said, hey, we'll pay for the flight and the hotel if you guys are willing to go and do this. And I looked around, I was like, willing? This is exciting. This is a great opportunity to go speak at the National REIA. Let's do this. So we're very excited to be able to represent Boston in the national conversations. And Angela, I'm just going to mute your line real quick. And the Boston REIA, by the way, is part of something much larger, the National REIA. Hands can if you're a member of any other REIAs in the area, whether it's Rhode Island or New Hampshire. Okay, so I'm a member of a lot of different REIAs because I've traveled all over the country. And of all the REIAs that I'm a member of, Boston is home. Boston is where my heart is. Boston is where all my real estate is. And Boston's also where I find there's the most opportunity. So to be able to represent the Boston REIA is just absolutely amazing. So check if your cameras, if you can now see the screen, hands the camera if you see it. Awesome. This is our logo for the Boston REIA. Each month we bring on a new opportunity for you, new trainers, new education. The idea is, how do we help you get to the next level in real estate investing? We promote, protect, and educate. Hands to the camera if you know that this is a massive organization, and Boston is one of the best, one of the largest in the country for what we do. Awesome. So this is our March event, and we want to say welcome to all of our members and our guests. So let's give yourselves a round of applause for being here tonight. People who've been here before. Our paid members, by the way, there's a difference between guests and members. Paid members get access to a lot of cool things, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. I'm a member, been a member for years, and I'm a member of a lot of REIAs because each REIA has its different benefits and its different networks. Now, what I found the most valuable asset that I've acquired from the REIAs is actually the relationships. It's you. Each one of you in the room could be somebody who brings me a deal, could be somebody who finances one of my deals, or it could be one of the deals that I finance. And if you know, it's good to have people. Yes, especially if you're like me and you're a very passive investor, people become very, very important. So the REIAs are a huge resource for connecting with people like me, like Duncan, and some of the other investors in the room, like yourselves. This is your pathway to success. Now, I do ask that we're all adults here. Hands to camera if we admit that we're adults, we're responsible for our own decisions. Well, just in case, I got a liability disclosure I'm going to read to you. The Boston REIA assumes no liability or responsibility for the outcomes of any real estate transaction, decision, or other action that any Boston Real Estate Association member or visitor enter into as a result of attending any meeting, listening to any guest speaker, or talking to any Boston REIA member, guest, visitor, or persons. Basically, what this is saying is if you make a mistake in real estate, don't blame us, blame yourselves. But if you are investing in real estate in this community, please do ask us for resources, ask us for help, ask us questions. We do want to be able to guide you. And remember, we are just guides and we're creating opportunities. It is still up to you to vet the person you're speaking to. It's up to you to vet the deal that you're doing. And it's up to you to vet whether it's worth taking their money or not. If you're taking money from a lender or a private money partner or a hard money lender or a bank. Hands to the camera if we commit to pay attention in doing deals. Excellent. Awesome. In that case, we'll move on to the next. We are the largest trade association of real estate investors in the United States. We have partners like the Home Depot. We have Rent Perfect, Office Depot, and Equity Trust. These are massive trade discounts that are offered. And who here has ever done a deal with Equity Trust before? Anybody? If you don't know what it is, this is how we untap access to our 401ks. Who here has a 401k or knows somebody with a 401k? With a lot of money sitting in the 401k, they might want to buy real estate. Well, the only way they could do that is a self-directed IRA through Equity Trust. They can get access to their capital. So there's a lot of really cool resources right here in the Boston REIA. Now, our goal is to be the most active community in real estate investing in New England. Who saw our poll when you logged in? We're the only group doing this. We're the only ones saying, hey, what do you guys want? What are you looking for? And the reason we're asking questions and interacting with you is so that Duncan can go and find speakers who are going to teach about the things that you're interested in. Hands to camera if you'd like more education around buy and hold real estate investing. 18 of you would, right? Show me how to buy the multifamilies. Show me how to get the passive income. We want cash flow. We want real estate. We don't want to work our jobs anymore. Hands to camera if you don't want to work your job anymore. You'd like to be done with it. Anybody? Anybody want to quit? Awesome. Excellent. Hands to camera if you'd like to never have to work your job anymore. You like your job, you'd stay, but you'd like to not have to go. Awesome. That is a lot of the goal that we get here. We're number one in deal flow, number one in networking, number one in education, and number one in investor resources. Who has never been to our website before? Who's never been to the Boston REIA website before? Awesome. Who has been to the Boston REIA website before? Excellent. So there's a ton of resources and it's constantly being updated. Duncan is just like me. We're computer nerds. We're constantly adding information. We're grabbing stuff, putting it out there so that you have access to the stuff that you need as a real estate investor to get to the next level. We have partners in the money side of things. Who's ever said, I don't have enough money to do a deal? Who's ever thought that? I said, man, like I wish I had the money. I wish I knew somebody who wanted to give me money. Duncan, do we have any of these sponsors here today? Or Kelly, do we have any of our sponsors who want to talk? I'm looking around. I'm looking. Leverage, J&M, Universal Capital. I know when we were live, Universal Capital loved to show up. I guess if there's no people live, he's not coming
Correct.
up.
Correct, Walter. Universal Capital said they might be in, but they're also running taking part in a different meeting as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they might pop in time,
Awesome.
but maybe not.
All right, no worries. So our sponsors are typically banks and lenders. Hence the camera, if you know, having relationships with lenders is a good idea. Yes. So they are available if you have any questions on how to contact them. Kelly, are you able to drop your phone number? I know you're going to be dropping it later for anybody who wants access to membership. So Kelly, for all of our members, you get access to our partners. We get a better rate on the loans, which is nice. Next. Newsflash, get your free copy now of the Boston Investor Monthly Newsletter from the official Boston Real Estate Investor Association. Use this link to register and sign up. It's bostonrealestateinvestораssociation.com. If you're not on the newsletter, again, missing out on information. Real estate is a market that moves. It's got trends, and you want to make sure that you're staying ahead of the trends, especially in Boston. We know that there's some information coming out around the landlord rights and tenant rights, around rent control. There's a lot of stuff happening around the eviction moratoriums, which are finally over, which, by the way, we're doing evictions. Our tenants are very happy about it. And we're back in the game. Rents are rising. I raised my rents. One more sale to my buy and hold people. $12,000 this month.
You're a good daughter.
$12K a month. Hence the camera if that's a good rent increase. 50 units, not too hard to do it. 50 units making $12,000 additional every month, thanks to staying through the process. We bought property during COVID. We stayed through the process. It's a long game, my friends. But if you stay in it long enough, you can get very rich. And I want to make sure you can still see my screen when I switch over to new to real estate investing. Hands scan if you're new to real estate investing. Anybody new? Ever done a deal before? Bianca, welcome. Awesome. Thank you. And let's get those cameras turned on. There's only a handful of cameras. I don't see anybody whose camera's off. When I say hands to camera, I actually don't see your hands if you're moving them. So turn your cameras on. It makes it more fun for me, makes it more enjoyable for everybody else to play this game. One more time, as you're throwing your cameras on, hands to camera if you are new to real estate investing. Never done a deal before. Now, there we go. Excellent, excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here tonight. Let's give everybody who's new a round of applause for being here tonight to learn.
Walter,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt. Marco was just asking if we can make him co-host.
Yes. Where is Marco? Is his camera turned on? All right. If his camera's not on, I can't see him. Let me, I see Linda.
Apparently I'm Linda.
There you go. I see you, brother.
I had an operation recently and they now call me Linda. I identify as Linda.
Okay.
You know what? You don't look like a Linda, but you have the commanding power of a Linda. So,
Well, thank you. You can call me Karen as well.
no, well, it's a whole other scenario. So our new investors, Linda will not be speaking tonight. That is Mark, but behind the veil of secrecy for now. So we want to get you started doing your first deal. The goal is make more money, invest in real estate, and have a purpose. Before we dive into the Home Depot and benefits, I want to, by show of hands, who likes to save money? Who likes to make more money and save money? Who knows that a penny saved is a penny earned? That's true?
Yes.
Excellent. So we're going to talk about how to get some savings for our real estate investors. Sarah, would you like to run everything on your side? Would you like me to give you screen share?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Then you are a co-host. Let's give Sarah a round of applause. She's going to talk about saving money with the Home Depot.
All right, thank you so much. Can you see my screen right now?
We got it.
Okay, awesome. All right, hello everyone. Boston REIA members get exclusive benefits. So if you are a Home Depot Pro Extra member, you do get discounts and rebates, but if you're a member, you get even extra. We're gonna explain those shortly. So with Boston REIA, you get 2% rebate biannually on all purchases. The only thing is that you have to spend $5,000 per period, and the period is basically 6 months. So the rebate period starts in January 1st up until June 30th, and then July 1st up until December 31st. And the rebates come in a form of a Home Depot gift card, and it gets mailed out within 60 days from the closing day of each period. So always, you want to make sure that your mailing address is updated with Home Depot. Boston REIA members also start at the gold tier, which qualifies them for 20% off paint without meeting the rebate minimum. Normally, people have to spend $6,500 to get to that tier, but as a Boston REIA member, you skip all that and you go directly to the gold tier, and you don't need to spend. This has nothing to do. So if you sign up today and went to buy paint, it has nothing to do with the $5,000 rebate minimum. How it works is that all you have to do is at the checkout, before you swipe your card, just enter your phone number that you used to register with us and with Home Depot, and then the system will recognize that you're a Boston REIA member, and then it's going to give you the discount right away. And basically, if you when you create your account or when you sign up with the rewards, with the Pro Extra rewards, you need to have a form or a method of payment attached on your account that has the Boston REIA code, special code. And every time you make a payment with this card, you get the 2% accumulated, and you can go back up to 24 months. So if you pay with this card, you get the 20% right at the checkout, and then the 2% gets accumulated. You get that at the end of the 6 months. The 20% of paint is applicable to paint, stains, and primer that it's a gallon or more, not applicable to spray or quartz. Also, only for Boston REIA members, you can get up to 20% off select Hampton Bay kitchen and bath cabinets if purchased 10 or more cabinets in one transaction. And how it works is that you get 10% from National REIA and 10% from Home Depot, and both are stackable with any other store discounts.
Oh,
Also, is something else that Home Depot does is the volume pricing program, VPP or bid room. So how does that work is if you have a list of items that will cost $1,500 or more in a single transaction, bring that list to the Pro Desk, have them prepare a quote for you. And once they do that, send it to the bid room. And then it's going to come back within just a few minutes with all the applied discounts, anywhere for up to 15%. And then once you pay at the checkout with a registered card, you get the 2% on top of that. So you get anywhere from 0 to 15% at the checkout, and then you get the 2% accumulated at the end of the closing period. The only thing that wouldn't go through this is the paint, because it's 20%. So you're not gonna have a deal with the bedroom on the paint. For numbers, basically in the last 6 months, Home Depot paid out to chapter members more than $500,000, with an average rebate per member nearly $1,600. This is equivalent to basically 5 REIAs or so, 5 years of memberships of REIA. in 6 months, someone was able to get a 5 years worth of membership in just 6 months. So if you are a member, if you're not sure if you are a member, and or if you'd like to become a member, I would encourage you to give Kelly a call or text. That's her number, and she always, puts it in the chat, and she probably will put it in the chat. And as soon as she helps you signing up, she's gonna forward your information to me. It only takes under 10 minutes to get you set up. It's very simple, very easy, done directly on the website of Home Depot. And that's it. You can start collecting all rebates. Thank you.
Let's give Sarah Ibram a round of applause. Awesome. Awesome. Hands Camp, you recognize there's a lot of deals with the Boston REIA. When you get into the national REIA, especially the Boston REIA, there's a lot of deals, a lot of opportunities. Yes. Just in Home Depot alone, there's a great opportunity. But there are some other opportunities that I want to present to you. Hands Camp, if you'd like to see more savings. Yes. Yes. Who likes free things? Who likes things for free? Awesome. So I may give you something for free in a little bit if you stick around. And who likes massive, valuable information that you can implement almost immediately? Who thinks that's valuable? Then you want to stick around to the end of the night. Who likes the idea of being able to ask a millionaire questions, a millionaire that you've never asked or spoken to before questions? Stay to the end of the night. I know that you're going to have questions while our speaker is on. Save them. You can store them in the chat. But at the end, all of our speakers, and I've been here with Mark before, so I know how he works. He's going to give you an opportunity to ask questions. Hands camera, if you know, that's extremely valuable. That is worth a ton of money. This is something that we give to our members, the opportunity to talk to our speakers and get information at the end of these calls. Now, here's what I will say. He'll probably only take 5 to maybe 6 questions at the end. The person who drops their question in first is the one who's going to get answered. Does that make sense? Just pre-warning you, just giving you an idea before we get to that Q&A area that the person who's asking the question will get the answer. The person who's not will always forever bear the question. Hands to camera if that's fair. That's how the universe works. Time is limited, so we must take action. Awesome. So I'm going to share some more deals, some more value on the screen. Who thinks that's a lot of discounts? Those are some great relationships to have if you're a real estate investor. That is a lot of opportunity right there. These are relationships you get deals on for every single member of the Boston REIA. Now, when I tell you the price, you're going to think I'm absolutely insane to be giving it away at this discount, at this deal. But this is what they've identified, what Kelly and Duncan have identified as the cost to create more benefits on the website, the cost to create more opportunities and pay for the speakers to come in to do these trainings for you, the cost to create and update the newsletter, to make sure that the events that are running on the weekends and the courses. By the way, I'm going to see if I can get the Boston REIA to donate a course to Alchemist Nation. Who thinks that's a cool idea? Absolutely. It's in the works. It's in the universe.
Hey, Walter, just also very quickly, can you talk to them about the 52-week program, Saturday program that you run to as a freebie?
Absolutely. Let's give Duncan a round of applause. One of my favorites. So something that we do for all of our Boston REIA members is every Saturday at 10 a.m. we go through the 52 It's called the 52 Weeks to Wealth. Hands scan if you know you'd like to double your income this year, like to double your money, double your income. So the 52 real estate wealth principles will allow you to do that. Now, it might not happen. You may not be a millionaire in year one if you're only making 50,000, but you stay in for 3 years to 5 years, you can get to that level. Does that make sense? 3 to 5 years to become a millionaire, depending on where you start. So every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you jump on with me and the other millionaires. We talk about the wealth principles. We're on for about 25 minutes. Our mentorship students, you know how that works. The mentorship students get to show up a little bit earlier, ask some questions, and those conversations are a lot of fun because now you're having, one-on-one with us. And then you got your jump start. There's a lot of benefits and value to the mentorship students, but I do want to give something away for free because I do like giving away free things. Is that okay if I give something away right now? Something free? Type into the chat, Darina, can you drop the link for namesondeeds.com? I'm going to give you this free workbook. Now, it's not free. This is a $30 workbook if you go to Amazon. I'm going to give you this workbook, the virtual version. I'm sending you the digital copy. I'm going to give you access to names on deeds. Now there is on that site, if you go to alchemistnation.com, you get access to the 52 weeks of wealth as well. The mentorship is on there as well. The membership for anybody who's a member of the Boston REIA is at a discount. So if you're a Boston REIA member and you go online, you see the mentorship price, just send me a message and say, hey, I'm a Boston REIA member. I'll double check with Kelly. Hence, Karen, if it's cool that I hook up the Boston REIA. Anybody who's a member here, I hook up with discounts over there. Let me tell you this. You'll make your money back just in that one deal. The mentorship is $2,000. The membership for the Boston REIA is $400, but I'll give you a $500 discount if you come to the Boston REIA. Hands to Karen if you know you're making your money back in one shot. No brainer. You're welcome. That's how we do deals. That's how we do it at Boston REIA. Let's give everybody here a round of applause. Set it up. You just got to have a conversation with Dorina. She'll hook you up. And that is...
It's $400 for couples, $280 for individual membership.
How much for individuals?
$280.
It's unrealistic. Come on.
It's crazy.
Come on. They're making money. They're actually making money. This is insane. So look, education is important. The network is more important. The people you're spending your time with, the accountability is more important. Having a place where you can ask questions. That's what Alchemist Nation is. That's what the mentorship, that's what the 52 weeks of wealth is. Let's give Duncan a round of applause for negotiating an amazing deal for me. So for anybody who actually joins the mentorship, you'll actually be making money if you are a Boston REIA member. Hands to the camera if you recognize you got to be a Boston REIA member to get that deal. Everybody else is $2,000. Excellent. Okay. And I will be verifying with Kelly. We have a way to do this. Excellent. Awesome. Again, who likes to save money on things that they're going to buy anyway? Smart people, just like me. Here we go. I know Derek came through already and he's like, man, that deal wasn't here when I came through. I know. I apologize, Derek. It's what it is. All right. So the All-Star membership. This is what we were just talking about. You get access to not just the 52 weeks, not just the website, not just the newsletter, not just deals with Home Depot and the other resources, but you also get a deal on the membership, the mentorship program, and you get access to discounted workshops. These are things that we're only doing here in the Boston REIA, like the wholesaling boot camp on Wednesday nights, opportunities to find off-market deals from building relationships. When COVID hit, Boston REIA said, we're going to do something different. We're going to do things that we've never done. We're going to do things that no other REIA, and I've traveled and spoken at a lot of the different REIAs across the country. They say, we're going to make education even better. Instead of it being, well, we have to go and meet at this event once a month. Now we have multiple events going on every month. We have multiple resources all over the internet with Alchemist Nation, with BostonREIA.com, all these different resources so that you can take action on an opportunity. COVID was an opportunity to buy more real estate. Now post-COVID is an even bigger opportunity. There's so much money in the market right now. Hence, Karen, if you know, there's so much money, more than there's ever been, ever. It's crazy, crazy easy to get the money in this market. And we're going to talk about why in a little bit. So the membership, join today, learn the sport, be a player. It's a contact sport, by the way. It's a team sport. Join tonight. This is how you do it. I'm going to change the screen in just a minute. So take that number down, shoot Kelly a text now while you're thinking about it. For anybody who wants to do it faster, it's 864, pull out your phones, 864-906-4111. Shoot Kelly a text, say, hey, and then throw your name in there.
And by the way,
go ahead.
I'm today talking about using hiding behind personas. Right now I'm using Hannah's computer because my computer crashed. So this is Kelly, but it says Hannah Rogers. So that's Hannah, one of our other members here, and she helps us all the time.
I've changed it now to Kelly the Queen. So
why? Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So now it's 864-906-4111. And here's the deal. If you don't know Kelly, if you haven't texted Kelly, you're missing out on a great resource, great opportunity of Boston REIA. She knows everybody, knows everything that's going on, knows access to all the deals. And Cam, if you want to make more money this year, send Kelly a text.
Walter.
Thank you, Walter. You're welcome. All right, let's give Kelly a round of applause. She does so much for our community. She's absolutely amazing. She does a lot of the behind the scenes, a lot of the work. And
No,
it's just
I'm not
a great
worthy.
resource. What is it?
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
Well, you got the title anyway.
I do, don't I? I'm stuck with it.
Stuck with it. All right. So this is an opportunity for you. One more of many opportunities. This is for the members and for non-members, for guests. What haves, wants, and needs do you have? I want you to be specific, limit to a minute or less. In fact, let's just blow it up in the chat. Drop your needs, wants, or requests. Opportunities, deals that you have, if you're looking for capital, if you're looking for investors, if you're looking for a partner to go and do a deal with, or if you're looking for a mentor or a money lender, this is your chance to just drop that in the chat. And if it's very specific to your market, like the rules say here, be specific. For me, I buy real estate in Fall River, Massachusetts. I don't buy single families. I don't wholesale. I only buy large multifamilies. So very, very clear. And drop it in the chat. Let's load it up. This is money. This is where the money is made. This is something that a lot of REIAs don't do across the country. They used to do it in person, but they don't do it virtually. But we found that you can actually save all these contact information. By the way, put your email address, put your phone number. If you want somebody to contact you, please give them away. Give them a way to reach you. Be specific. What are you looking for? Are you looking for partners? Are you looking for contractors? Are you looking for plumbers, electricians, coaches? Are you looking for realtors? Are you looking for wholesalers? What are you looking for? What is stopping you from making $1 million in real estate this year? What one contact, what one thing could do it? Make $1 million, another million. I see some of my millionaires on here. I see you, Darina, right? Make $1 million, another million. What's stopping you? What contact? What relationship? What request? All right, Duncan's making another $1 million in crypto this year. I already know him. He's like, man, I can't help myself. What? I bought again. Now they're buying real estate and crypto. It's game over. Out of control. All right. Why is there marks? Can anybody see the marks on my screen there? No, I'm the only one who sees them. You see them? All right, Darina, can you figure out what's going on there with that?
Are you sure you don't have a toddler over there?
I might.
A little Walter running around with crayons?
Anyway, moving on. We've got a guest. We've got a speaker who traveled all across the country to come and speak with you tonight. Let's give it up for the man, the myth, the legend. He's going to teach us how to profit in real estate with a rising inflation market. This man has been here before. He over-delivers every time. His name is Marco KOZLOWSKI. Let's give him a huge round of applause. Give it up.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hey, guys. That was a very silent applause. Very, very silent. Hello.
We're visually appealing.
You're visually, well, I see about 3 or 4 of you. So this is extremely interactive. Oh, there's a poll that just popped up in my face. Let me just turn that off. If I can turn it off. Alrighty, and I'm going to hit the mute button as well. All right, so for those of you that don't know, my name is Marco. I'm actually going, if I don't want to necessarily be distracted by the chat because A, massive ADHD. B is if you're focusing on the chat, you're most likely going to miss what I have to share with you. So let me first share what I'm going to share with you, and then maybe we can disable the chat so you don't feel like I just took something away from you. So I do invest in multifamily, hotels, mobile home parks, storage unit facilities, assisted living facilities, mobile home parks. I think I said that already. Basically anything that has cash flow that I don't have to manage, that we buy at significant discounts and use none of our own money to do so. And we're extremely active. We buy around 1,500 units a year. I was pleased to hear, that COVID, you share my COVID was a great time to buy. We almost crested 3,000 units. We're 6 units shy of that. And it was one of our best years ever. Did over 1,500 units in 21, and we're on track to continue to do that. And again, we use none of our own money to do so. So if you would like to have access to cash that you didn't know you had, I will definitely show you how to do that. Show you how to get significantly discounted assets from extremely motivated, I don't like to use the word, but and I don't want to use desperate either, sellers that really need to sell quickly, that you can really help and serve. And in the interim, get significant equity in an asset, immediate cash flow. So you're not buying it and, almost making money with a mortgage, but you're making money the day you buy it. And the long game, which is ultimately what we do, is we want to buy it, optimize it, and then refinance so we can pull out tax-free cash on the refinance after 2 tax returns. So I'll show you exactly how to do that step by step. And I love questions, and I'm not a typical speaker. I'm going to go through a concept, and then I'll take questions, and then another concept, take questions, because I do this every day. I now have thousands of units, over 6,000 units, and I really don't need to do anything anymore. And just, it's funny that you were saying that you had 50 units and making about 12,000, 13,000 a month. The average profit per unit is around $200. You're at 240. I did the math. So if you take out the mortgage, you're probably at about 200 net, depending on what you're paying for the money. So it's about $200 a month per unit. So if you want to make $10,000 a month, you just take $10,000, divide that by 200 units. That's $5,000 a month. So you're that many units away. So you need 50 units to make $10,000 generally. But again, if you're making a little bit more, a little bit less, some markets make a lot more, some markets make a lot less. Really depends on how much you're buying it for. So if you want to learn how to never use your own money again to buy cash flowing assets that you don't have to manage, there's no Jerry Springer tenants here at all. This is pretty simple. I'll do this step by step. Been at this for 22 years, made a shite ton of mistakes over the last 22 years. And I have no problem sharing how many mistakes I've made. And this has all been done through trial and error. This is not regurgitated information that you've heard before. And as I said, if you're seasoned and you've been doing this for a while, you're going to love it. And if you're brand new at this and you have no idea even what a deed is, I deed this yesterday. I'll be able to help you with that as well. So no matter what your level of proficiency is, I'll be able to help you significantly. So if you don't mind, I'm going to disconnect the chat just for a second. But I don't want to take away the essence of what you guys are doing, because I think it's important. Just as an FYI, your net worth will be directly, related to your network. So the more access to things that you have, the better it is. And people, money, anything. So I highly recommend that you get plugged into a process that will only not waste your time, but get you what you want. And joining as many groups as possible is definitely something that I highly recommend for sure. So I think everyone hopefully knows how to get hold of you. Now, just so you understand how I operate, I have a 85-inch screen in front of me. I have a full studio. I have a podcast that I do every week as well, number 1 on iTunes. We have about 200,000 downloads a month at this point. 100,000 downloads a month. Our goal, we had a meeting today, was 200,000 to double it. We're not there yet. We have 100,000 per month. So it's pretty significant. And I'm going to do whatever I can over the next 30, 40, 50, 60, 90 minutes. I haven't booked anything after us. So I'll go as long as you want me to go. You can ride me like a rented mule. I'm yours. And I'm delighted to help you any way that I can to really enjoy more cash flow. So first, are you a group that wants more cash flow? All right. So I didn't give you the rules. If I don't see you, I can't interact with you. All right. So only those that have a camera on. I have a huge screen in front of me, and when you move, it pops up and I can actually see you very well. That's sometimes a good thing, and sometimes you can't unsee what you see. So, if you're in the restroom on your phone, just wait till you're done, please. But anyone that actually wants to ask me a question, don't use your hand. I know many people do. Use a piece of paper, a remote control, a child, whatever. And as soon as there's a change in the force, you'll pop up, and then I'll be able to interact with you. And like I said, I'll go concept, Q&A, concept, Q&A, concept, Q&A. And at the end, you'll understand how all this works. Okay. So first, we can talk about inflation for sure. Would you agree that things cost more today than they did a year ago? First of all, so inflation is a real thing. Yes. So inflation is real, and it's been going on for as long as money has been around. In fact, if you take a look at what a property costs in you were talking about, properties in Dorchester that you could pick up, for nothing back then, and now they're worth 10 times more. In a very short period of time, by the way. That was 20 years is not a long time to have a 10x in value. But if we take a look at the average housing price in the United States in 1970, we're going way back, all right, in 1970. In 1970, a property cost around $22,000. All right, 22 grand. I'm going to switch mics real quick to make sure that I can use my, hopefully you can still hear me. I'm going to go on my lapel mic. Can you guys still hear me okay? Yes, no, maybe so. Is the sound okay? Decent? Yes? Okay, good. And again, guys, I don't know if you've muted everyone, but if you have the ability to, chime in, please do. And if you don't have your screen on, I will not be able to interact with you. So even if you ask a question, I won't even see you because I hit a button. So only those that have their camera on will I be able to interact with. It's not that I don't love you. It's just that those generally that are more engaged, I want to be able to see also if you understand it. I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm here to really enlighten you as to what's possible. And I'm not really a teacher. I'm more of a mentor. And if you understand it, you'll do it. And if you do nothing, you'll be right where you were before this meeting. And if you're not growing, you're dying. And I just want to help as many humans as possible achieve financial independence because I think it's our right to be successful, but it's our choice to fail. So the choices that we make on a daily basis decide what we're going to make, who we wake up with, who we don't wake up with, and where we are economically. It's based on the choices that we've made in the past. So if you don't like what's in your bank account, it's because you made different choices than others that possibly made different choices to really increase their bank balance. So let's go back to 1970 real quick. Value of a property. I'm going to use this as going to the beach. I know, Boston, there's 3 days of summer in Boston. Water over here. You guys see my thing decently, hopefully. All right. We have a beach ball over here. All right. And this beach ball is going to be a property. In 1970, you could buy it for $22,000. The same exact property, today's value, $500,000. All right. The same exact property, $500,000. Same beach ball. It's just gone deeper into the ocean. And as time passes, there's more and more equity that's created. Now, everyone says, well, that's appreciation. Well, it was $22,000 in 1970s dollars and $500,000 in today's dollars. So if you bought that, now, is this a different property or is it the exact same property just at a different period in time? Is it the same property or a different property in a different, it's the same, right?
Same property.
All right, same property, good. If it's the same property, again, interactive relationship. If it's the same property, but why is it worth $500,000 more? Because inflation means we need more dollars to buy the same thing, right? Now, in the last year alone, real estate has gone up around 20%, which is incredible, and we don't know when that's going to stop. Now, if you could have gone back in your time machine and bought this property and only had debt on it, only debt, like you bought it 100% financed, zero cash out of pocket, and you just had debt on it. And this debt made you a positive cash flow every month. So you had the right loan and you still made money. And it was interest only. So you don't pay a nickel off, not a penny off over time. You owe 22, you still owe 22, you still owe 22. And today in this market, you still owe $22,000. Same property, same debt, but did you build equity?
Yes.
Did you have passive income? You made money every month.
Yes.
Someone else, all right. It's the same property and the debt is actually worth less with inflation. The only thing that will save those that understand inflation, how things work, is to have as many assets as possible with as much debt as possible that you don't need to use. So you're using less cash to buy more properties. Because as inflation goes up, the value of things go up. And anyone that understands how to ride the inflationary wave, where it doesn't matter how much things cost more of, no matter how much your dollars are going, like if you had not one house in Dorchester for 100 grand, let's say you had 30 of them, right? And you still had $100,000 in debt and $100,000 in old debt, but now it's worth 1.1, you have $1 million in equity, but you still have the same amount of debt. So the more real estate debt, not personal debt, I'm not talking about debt for a jet ski or a big screen TV, or, you want to go, do whatever you want to do, season tickets to the Red Sox. It's getting debt that makes you money. For every dollar I'm in debt, I get $2, right? And the debt is, if it's just interest free, just as low as possible with only interest, as things are worth more, you're building equity automatically. Does everyone understand this? This is the simplest way that I can understand, explain inflation, that debt by itself is crushed by inflation. The value of your assets go up, but your debt becomes insignificant as inflation happens. But as long as you're making cash flow, that debt doesn't matter. As long as the tenants are paying for your property, then you're good. Now I'm doing multifamily. I don't like, there's a shit ton of money to be made in single families. Don't get me wrong. You know, I did it for years, but I like to spread the risk with multiple tenants with one mortgage. And if there's a vacancy, it's part of the formula. It's not a big deal. It's expected. If we have to get rid of somebody, it's part of the formula. And we're buying in areas where it's not an act of God to get someone out of the property. There's certain states that are better than others. And I don't care where the property is located because I'm not managing it. That's a manager's job. We have maintenance reserves. So if something breaks, we have the money for it. The taxes are paid, the insurance are paid, all the bills are paid. We put money back into the property every year to make sure it's getting better. We want to increase rents. And that's the plan. We buy it at a discount, make sure that it's all as much debt as possible. And you'll see that we don't need a down payment because how we buy it, if you're interested, you'll learn how to do that in a second. And the more assets that you buy now, in 5, 10, 15 years, you're amassing a fortune. Had you not bought $22,000 in assets back in 1970, but $2.2 million in 1970, this would be worth $50 million. Minus your 2.2 million, that's $47 million in actual equity, in money in your pocket if you decided to cash out with 2.2 million. Now, inflation is much more aggressive now than it is back in 1970. All right, we had the 80s, which was terrible, but we can discuss that later. So if you could turn back time, and in fact, right now, is $2.2 million of property a lot of money? Like, I know maybe you don't have $2.2 million, but if you look at a building, do you think it's going to be worth more than $2.2 million?
No.
Just grunt once for yes, twice for no. Right?
Yes.
So yes or no? Yes, right?
Yes.
So 2.2 million is a lot of money or not a lot of money?
No.
No,
But
it's a lot.
if you go on,
It's a lot of money.
it's a lot of money for a property, and you don't. $2.2 million is on a multifamily is actually very, very little. Just to be clear, all right. This is a property that doesn't generate necessarily something near Harvard, for example. You're probably looking at 10, 15, 20 million dollars as far as the asset goes, right? So $2.2 million. I know if you're doing single families, that's going to be like, oh my gosh, that's millions. In this business, $2 million is like $10, all right? And the only difference between $1 million and $10 is zeros. That's it. And there's nothing to be afraid of, all right? If you're not using your own money, does it matter how many millions there are? Think about it. If you're not using your money, does it matter how many millions there are? It doesn't. It's just zero. So there's nothing to worry about. Remember that. So once again, does anyone have any questions just on inflation? If you have just debt, over time, the value of the property, so it's the same property, same beach ball, but the depth of the equity is increasing as the ocean gets deeper. So right now we're here, and in less than 10 years, we're going to be here again because of what's happening. And the U.S. is in a tremendous amount of debt. And the only way, by the way, just food for thought, if the U.S., the government, were to tax everyone 100% of their income, which is not going to happen, 100% of their income, how long would it take to pay off the existing debt that we have now as in the U.S.? Anyone have any idea?
No.
100%
Immediately.
current debt, immediately, it wouldn't even be half in 10 years. That's how significant the debt is. It wouldn't even be half in 10 years. That's how much money the U.S. owes to everyone else in the world. Not even half after 10 years, all right? So what is the only way that the debt can be crushed?
Inflation.
Inflation. And it's the most powerful thing that a human can experience in their lifetime. And if you have money, do you want inflation if you own assets?
Yeah.
Do you like inflation if you own assets?
Damn right.
And if you're working, you're 9 to 5 and you're busting your ass and you're doing everything that you can, are you going to survive inflation?
That's
You're
a
gonna
big
get-
hell yes.
You're going to survive inflation if you're working 9 to 5, don't have any assets, and you're just trying to get by with a paycheck. As things cost more, you make actually less.
Right.
So are you going to survive? If you're not paying attention, you're going to give the wrong answer. That's okay. I'll be able to tell. So once again, if you are working 9 to 5, regular, just a normal employee, W-2 employee, are you going to survive very expensive inflationary times? You're going to get crushed by it,
No.
destroyed.
No.
Right? It's going to be very, very painful. So as we move through this, and the government's not going to tell you, yeah, it's at 20% inflation, because there'd be panic on the streets. They're going to do whatever it takes to just don't panic, because, there's a virus that will kill us all, and a paper mask is what the solution is, so no one dies, right? So we're obviously going to get the right information at all times. I'm not here to be a conspiracy theorist. My dad has COVID right now, and he was supposed to have an operation. He's supposed to be in surgery today, and they canceled his surgery because he got COVID. And it is what it is. So I'm not making fun of COVID or those that are affected or those that were injured by it at all. I just know that, what I hear and what happens are not always the same thing. So the key, I hope where I'm trying to land the plane here, is that would you like to have the ability to buy as many assets as possible, no matter what your economic situation is? If you have no credit, lots of money, no money, you live in your car, you're homeless, you're toothless, you hardly speak English, and you just want to be able to just thrive during inflation, do you want me to continue? Or do you want me just to, you want me to go?
Yes.
I could go home, but I'm already at home. So,
No, continue.
all right, I'll go home. All right. Very good. Very, very good. All right, very good, very good. Okay, so inflation is real, and the only way to win in an inflationary game is to have as many assets as possible with debt that goes down in value, which doesn't make sense. But wait a second, Marco. If I owe 100,000, don't I still owe 100,000? Yes, but if you owe 100,000, but now your property and it's worth 100,000 and it doubles in value and it's now worth 200,000, you still owe 100,000, but you built $100,000 in equity. So as the value goes higher, your debt actually stays the same. So get in as much real estate debt as you can. And the kind of real estate that we get into is non-recourse, which means you don't personally guarantee it. It's not based on your credit. It is only based on the value of the asset, and that's it. It's not hard money. It's 17% interest with 95 points on the front end. With you putting 20% down, none of that shit. All right. This is very straightforward. You'll understand that in a second. So before I erase this, is everyone clear that inflation will crush you unless you do something about it? And the only people that can do something about it is the person that's sitting on the 2 cheeks that you have right now on that chair. If you do nothing, nothing will happen. And don't say I didn't warn you in 5 years from now. If you could have had $10 million in assets that are now worth 25 million and you did nothing about it and you can't turn back time. I could have bought Bitcoin at $1 and I didn't, so it is what it is. No questions? I don't see any changes in my screen. Okay, good. I was told Boston's the smartest of the groups. We'll see if that's true. Okay, let's talk about values in commercial real estate real quick. Now, I know I've been at this game 22 years. I bought my first property in 99 in upstate New York. I'm from north of New York, Montreal. I'm from Canada. And I didn't have any credit. I was a concert pianist. I'm a musician. And I don't know if you know the difference between a musician and a large pepperoni pizza, but a large pepperoni pizza can actually feed a family of 4. And I was broke forever, paying my Visa with my MasterCard, had no money whatsoever. And I was always having financial problems with my, in my family. I was a young dad. I was 24. I had 4 kids at 24 years old. And I was just trying to figure things out, always financial pressure. Does anyone know what the #1 cause of divorce is?
Finances.
Marriage.
It's marriage. It's marriage. Yeah, it's marriage. For sure. The second cause is definitely money. But when you're, technically, if you get married, you have a 51% chance of getting a divorce. So, you can do the math. But yeah, when you're having financial issues, it's a problem. And I wanted to take care of my kids. I didn't have I did 6 months of pre-med. Then I dropped out so I was taking care of my kids. I'm like, what am I going to do? Didn't want to get a job because then my time is no longer my family's time. It's somebody else's time. Saw an infomercial back in 99 on how to make money in real estate, bought the product. And that took me down the journey of doing a lot of things wrong before I figured out how to do it really well. Now, I'm going to talk about first value in commercial assets. And most people are at first scared, thinking the numbers are too big. I can't do it. It's too hard, too complicated. Stop it. You can learn this very easily. And I'm going to make this I'll write this in crayon. All right. So if you can add two numbers together, you can definitely do this business. Anyone can do this. And I'm talking anyone. I've helped people that if you look at them, you're amazed they put one foot in front of the other and they're doing very well. All right. It's just paint by numbers. It's not that hard. So number one, first we have gross income. So just like you have your salary, how much you make, and then the IRS comes in and takes whatever they want. And by the way, if you know what the IRS stands for, put those together, it's theirs, right? So the IRS wants to keep as much as possible. That's what the IRS is. It's theirs. And you're going to have two partners, theirs, the IRS, and Murphy. All right. Both of them are attached to your leg like little kids, and they want their piece. Everything we're going to do is going to have the IRS in mind and Murphy, because things always go wrong. If you've been in the business, you know this. So this is not pie in the sky, amazing. You're going to make all this money. There's going to be work, but it's going to be worth it. And this is the long game. All right. This is going to take a little bit of time to put together, but if you do it, it works, and it works over and over and over and over again. I'm going to show you a process, a system that doesn't get you one opportunity, that gets you as many opportunities as you want. Because once we turn the machine on, it spits out opportunities, and good opportunities are created. They're not found. Everyone says, where'd you find this deal? Didn't find it, created it. Let me explain this. First, let's get into values. Values. I'm going to make this real easy. All right. If the gross income is $200,000, gross, that means all of the money that's collected, not the net, not what you keep, not your take home, but the gross income. Do I have any pens that work around here? 200,000. All right. Do you think you're going to keep all of that, or you're going to keep just a percentage of that? You have taxes to pay, insurance to pay, maintenance to pay, management to pay, all the other shit that has to get done, evictions, whatever it is. Do you think you're going to keep all of that?
No.
No.
We're going to keep around half. All right. We're just going to make it real easy. If you can take 200 and divide it in two, what are you left with?
100.
I'll let you lose your fingers. All right. If I have two and I lose half of them, I have one left. It's 100,000. All right. You have 100 grand. Now, in the worst market in the universe, all right, if you have the worst, if this is in Toad Suck Ferry, Arkansas, which is a real place. All right. I've been there. Toad Suck Ferry, Arkansas. Got a t-shirt and everything, where they look at you and go, woo-wee, you got a pretty smile with all them teeth. All right. In that market, in the worst of the worst markets, all right, it's going to be a market where you can get at least 10 times your revenue. In the worst market, Boston is, you're probably going to get about half of that. All right. It's going to be worth twice as much. But in Arkansas, in the middle of nowhere, this place is worth $1 million. And I'm going to use just easy numbers to make it easy to understand. We can get fancy later. All right. There's someone that's either beating their head, or a child, or something. I hear like talk, 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 talk. I don't know what that is. I'm just going to mute everybody. Or you're swallowing really loud. What is that noise? All right. So I don't know if someone can figure out who that is and then mute them, but please do. All right. So if the net is 100,000, let's add a zero. The value is at least $1 million in the worst of the worst markets in the United States. It's worth at least 10 times more, which is a 10% return. So if someone pays $1 million, they make $100,000 a year, and that's a 10% return. Just remember, add a zero in the worst case scenario. So I'm going to use the worst case scenario and know that in Boston, this $100,000, you might have to pay $2.5 million for it. Or you might have to pay $2 million for it. Or if it's in Los Angeles or New York City, you'll pay $4 million for a $1 million cash flow. The more populated the area is, the more people pay for the same cash flow. But if it's in Arkansas, after taxes, insurance, maintenance, management, everything else, it's worth at least $1 million. So we're going to use the worst case scenario. It's worth $1 million. Everyone clear on that? Just what's the gross? Divide that by 2. That gives you a number, and it's worth at least 10 times more. You got a zero. You're now pros at figuring out values in commercial real estate in Arkansas. I'll try this again just to see if you guys are paying attention. There'll be a valuable prize to the person that gets me the answer the quickest. All right. The gross is $52,000. All right. What's the net?
22.5.
What's it worth? At least minimum value.
225.
225,000. Was that hard? That's it. That's it. That's a simple math. Yes, there's spreadsheets. Yes, there's a lot of things that we can do to fancy it up. But at the essence, this is all it is. Got it? Values. Now, again, you're going to pay a lot more in Boston than you are going to pay in Arkansas for the property. You might pay $1 million. In fact, you'll probably pay more than $1 million in Boston for $52,000 in income. But do I want to pay $1 million for the property, or do I want to pay less? Do I want to pay less than, no, you won't pay $1 million. You'll pay maybe $750. All right. Oh, this is terrible. These all worked a second ago. And then I had gremlins that came in and took my good markers away. I'll use blue. Blue ones work. All right. So you're just paying a lot more in other markets. All right. Now, do you want to pay as much as possible for a property or as little as possible for a property? Which one? Which is better? As much as possible or little as possible? And if you pay less, do you make more money?
It really depends,
Yes.
but you should.
Listen carefully. Are you in the real estate business or are you in the cash flow business? What makes you more money, real estate or cash flow?
Cash flow.
I tricked you. It's actually both. You're in the real estate business that appreciates, but you want the cash flow to take care of your family. Some of you might have a lot of real estate, but you have asset rich, but cash poor. Maybe you're just breaking even on the assets that you're buying now. In fact, if you buy a property now with the rents that are getting in Boston, you're going to be lucky just to, to break even with management. If you have no management cost, if you're doing it yourself. And I'd rather be shot in the head twice with both of my ex-wives strapped to a chair, me strapped to a chair while they're taking their turns, all right, than deal with one Jerry Springer tenant. No, thank you. All right. No, thank you. Don't want to deal with any Jerry Springer tenants. And I will pay my management company to take care of it. I want zero. This is lifestyle money. And I want to do what I want, where I want, when I want. It's technically FU money. If someone says, I want you to do this, it's FU. I don't have to do anything because I'm my own guy and I don't want to have to do anything that I don't want to do. It's a very good feeling. So back to values. $200,000 gross, $100,000 net. Again, we're just using round numbers. And then this property is worth at least $1 million. Got it? Got the math? $200,000 gross. We keep half. That's about $100,000 on the net side, meaning the value is at least 10 times more, $1 million. Do we understand each other?
Yes.
I hope so. Now, if we pay retail, now, first of all, is this a business? Is this real estate investing thing a business or is this just a hobby?
It's a
Are there people that make money in the real estate business?
It's a business.
All right. Now, I am assuming you have Costco because I love Costco a little too much. All right. I love buying a pallet of toilet paper for whatever reason. If I want to buy a pallet of something, I can, and I get a good deal. Okay. So I like value. If I go to now, does Costco buy their material, their things that they're going to sell in their store at retail, at wholesale, or below wholesale?
Below wholesale.
So shouldn't we
cost.
just say they buy it at retail?
No, they buy it at wholesale.
Cost.
At wholesale or below wholesale?
Below
wholesale.
Below wholesale. So again, guys, if I give you three choices, there's not a fourth one. All right. So let's try this again. Retail, wholesale, or below wholesale. You can
Below wholesale.
Below wholesale. Very good. I take back how smart Boston is. All right. So it's below wholesale. And the reason they have to do below wholesale is because they want to give value to their customers and they have to make money in the spread. When we buy a piece of property, do we want to pay retail?
No.
No.
Do most
No.
people pay retail for a property?
Yes.
Yes.
Listed property, if you go on the MLS, is that wholesale, below wholesale, or retail?
Retail.
If it's on the MLS, it's a lot of people pass it up before it got on the MLS, because the cycle of a deal usually is they tell someone they want to sell it, then an agent hears about it, and they tell their inner circle of people that have the cash, and then if no one wants to buy it, then they put it on the MLS. It goes through that cycle before it hits the MLS, and generally, now there's exceptions to every rule, generally, if it's on the MLS, it's not that great of a deal, generally. I'm not saying that that's always going to happen, because there's always some nuggets in there, but I want the lowest hanging fruit possible. Okay? Now, retail is not what we want. We don't want wholesale. We want below wholesale. A value of a property is the gross. You take the half of that. We're just making it round so it's easy. Just add a zero. Again, it's more complex than that. I'm just making it easy to understand. It's worth $1 million at least with $100,000 net, period. Okay. Now, if you have financing, which everyone I think understands, a mortgage. If you have a credit score that's terrible, or you go to a bank and you want to get a loan, the bank will scrutinize who? The property and you, or just the property, or just you? Which one?
Both.
Yeah.
So if you have really shitty credit, your shoe size is better than your FICO score or your credit score. All right. You've never paid a bill in your life. You don't have any money. You're on check systems in the bank. You're just are not a person that has good credit. You're just doing which is most entrepreneurs, by the way, because you're always, trying to do whatever it takes to pay things, and you're always last. So you have bad credit. Are you going to get a loan for this property?
No.
No.
Why?
Bad credit.
Because you have bad credit. All right. And that is credit-based lending, which is what we've been taught is how it works. If you don't have credit and you don't have money, you can't get anything because you need money and credit in order to buy things. All right. That makes sense. Then there's asset-based lending, which is only based on the asset. It doesn't matter what you look like, smell like, what you've done in the past, where you are now, where you live now. Most of my followers are in Canada because I'm from there, Europe, Asia, all over the place. All right. I have a handful of US people that do very well, but you don't need your credit. And here's why. An asset-based lender is a lender that will lend based on the value of the asset and a percentage of that for risk mitigation. What is that in English? So it's around 70% of the value of the asset, not the purchase price, the value of the asset. Once again, it's 70% of the value of the asset. So what's our budget if the property is worth $1 million? What's 70% of $1 million?
700,000.
700,000. All right. So they're lending on this property. Now their interest rates are 6 to 8%. They're very low. And I know you might think that's very high, but I'll explain why it's very low. All right, in a minute. So 6 to 8%. I'm going to say the highest, which is 8. We're actually in the low 6s. 8 is quite rare. But let me explain this. Now, this is retail $1 million. Most people, when they buy a multifamily, they're going to pay very close to retail or 900,000. They think they're amazing, and they stole it. All right, and they get this property for 900,000. If you use a bank, you have to put 20% down. If you qualify, and they give you 80. In this case, they're going to give you 700,000 based on the value of the loan, value of the asset, which is $1 million. How much money do you have to bring to the table to use an asset-based loan? By the way, no credit checks. It doesn't matter where you live. If you have a house, if you don't have a house, if you rent, if you don't have a credit score, if you live in Afghanistan, it doesn't matter because it's a mortgage on this property and you don't pay, they get the property, just like a pawn shop. If I go to a pawn shop and I bring in a watch, I say, here, I got this watch. It was an heirloom. You give you a watch. Are they going to give you a loan on this watch? Are they going to check your credit? Do they care about you? Or they look at the value of the watch and say, okay, it's worth 10,000. I'm going to give you $7,000. It's a loan. And what happens if you don't pay? And the pawn shop's going to charge you like 38% interest. I don't know. I haven't had the fortune of doing that yet. But if they're going to pay you high interest loan, and if you don't pay, what do they get?
Keep the asset.
Right. Could I go tomorrow after I haven't paid it and now I have a bracelet. It's an heirloom and it's been the family for years. And can I get more money from another asset?
Yes.
But I just defaulted on this one. Why would they give me money on this one?
Because it's a different asset.
Do they care?
No, they don't
We'll
really-
take it. Doesn't matter. Based on the
No
asset.
no shit's given. I made money on you here. I'll make more money on you. Come down, come every day. I'll take all your assets at a discount because you don't pay. Do you understand?
Yes.
Same thing for property.
Yes.
Same thing for property. So once again, if you buy it for 900, you an asset-based loan, they put a first mortgage on it, you don't pay, it's theirs. But you have to bring how much to the table? 200,000. What if you get it for 800,000? How much money do you have to bring to the table?
100,000.
100.
100,000.
It's 800 minus 700, carry the 6,
100.
carry the 2, okay, 100,000. How about if you have 700,000, how much money do you have to bring to the table?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Closing costs. If you bought it for 650,000, what happens?
You get
You
income.
cash out.
You pull out money the day you close. Most people write a check to buy a property. I get paid to buy a property because I want to buy it right. So I mortgage as much as I can, pull out money. Now there's a limit. If I get it for $1, they're not going to give me all 700. There's a matrix where you can pull out some. In fact, they want you to pull out some specifically for maintenance reserves for Murphy, because the day you buy something, something's going to break. I don't know if you've ever had that happen, but you close on it and then suddenly shit happens and the money's there. That's good business. Okay. So once again, just to be clear, and most just can't wrap their head around the fact that the lender doesn't give a shit if you pay them or if you default. So let me explain this one more time. $300,000. All right, $300,000 gross. What's the net?
150.
150.
150.
What's it worth? At least.
1.5 million.
1,500,000.
All right. What's 70% of 1.5 million? I'll make it easy for you. $1,050,000. If I buy something retail or under retail, I buy 1.4. How much money do I have to bring to the closing table?
350.
What about 1.1? Oh man, I got this great 1.5. I got it for 1.1. How much money do you have to bring to the table?
50,000.
What if I bought it for $1 million even? I have closing costs plus some shekels in my pocket, a little bit of cash, and I can do whatever I want with it. It's your money. All right. In fact, it's actually tax-free because it's borrowed money. It's not income, it's borrowed money. Now, I'm going to make this real easy to understand. You're thinking, you're most likely, if this is the first time you're hearing this, you're rolling your eyes, say, Marco, this is complete bullshit. All right. Listen, my second wife was from Boston. She was from Medford, actually. She only took $11 million from me and disappeared to South America. Never saw her again, left me homeless. So I have no problems with people from Boston whatsoever. All right. But other than that, I'm other than twitching every time I see a microwave, I'm doing pretty okay. All right. So let's do this. 200,000, back to this one. It's gross, $100,000 net. It's worth $1 million. An asset-based lender is lending you 700,000 at 8%. All right, 8% interest at $700,000. What's 8% of 700,000? This is interest only, by the way, for 3 years. 3 years. All right, it balloons in 3 years. 3 years to refinance. So what's 3 years? 700,000 at 8% with interest only. There's no principal. You're just paying interest, the lowest possible amounts because it's cash flow money. Anyone tell me what 8% of 700,000 is, please?
56,000.
$56,000 is what it costs to keep the property per year. The property gross is 200. You net 100. So after 100,000, what do you have to pay for your interest?
56.
What's left for you?
34.
44.
34, 54, 24. If you're using a Canadian calendar, it's 184.
Sorry.
44,000.
44,000. $44,000 a year. How much money did you bring to the closing table?
Personal.
Yes, personal.
0.
Good answer. That's a very good answer. You brought 0 to the table. How much money is what's the gross income? 200,000. What's the net income? 100. How much money did you bring to the closing table, guys?
Nothing.
0.
And what do you make per year?
44,000.
44.
So is paying 8% interest to make $44,000 and get paid at closing a lot of money?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
It's
Then
not.
don't do it.
Zero.
no.
Then don't pay any money and don't get the deal. No problem. Because if you're focused on cost, you're losing 44 grand a year. Oh, and by the way, what's the mortgage on the property? 700,000. What's it worth? $1 million. So you have $300,000 in equity on this property with no money at risk. What you did is brought the equity and lowered the risk of the lender. And let me explain why you're lowering the risk. Let's say this is Zachary, and Zachary, he's like, fuck it. I don't want to pay this lender anymore. I'm done. I don't want to pay the lender because I'm paying 8%. This guy. All right. I don't want to pay this anymore. No problem. Lender takes it back. And they go from making how much? 56,000 to making how much?
100,000.
100.
Can't hear you.
100,000.
100,000.
And then they dump the property and sell for 900,000. They lent 700. They made 200,000 on a $700,000 loan. Can anyone tell me what 200,000 into 700,000? They sell it the day after, and they squeeze out $200,000 after closing costs and fees, and they lent 700. They made 200. What's that return, guys?
It's like 28%.
35%.
2 million %. If you make 200 divided by 700, I'm not trying to berate you with math here, but are they making more money if you default?
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know who's saying no, but you're not listening. 200,000 divided by 700. What is it?
28%.
28%. So they have a choice. If you keep your promise, they're getting 8, which we're not even paying. But I'll pay 8. I'll pay 10. I don't care. Is it how much you pay that matters or how much you make that counts?
How
much you make counts.
So if anyone has ever gone to the bank, first of all, they cut the legs a little bit too short, so you're standing lower. You're sitting lower than you should. They ask for a tax return. They ask for this. They ask for that. I want a stool sample. I want this sample. I want that sample. And then you have to get all these things. They put their meat hooks India. They lend you 80% at a lower interest rate. Agreed, but you have to put 20% down. And that cash is money that you have to put out. Got it? And if I have no money out and I can buy 10 times the property because I don't have to pass a credit check. And at one point, if you've been doing this a while, the bank is going to say, I'm not lending you any more money because now you're a risk. You have 5 mortgages, you're risky. No more money for you. So the bank is controlling how much money you can make. The bank is controlling how many assets that you can have ride the appreciation wave, ride the inflation wave, and they're saying you're done. And guys, 20% on $1 million times 5 is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But if you never need money because you bought them right, you can buy as many as you want. Are you making cash? You're pulling out money the day you bought it. You're making cash flow the second you buy it. It's got $300,000 in equity. And guess what? If there's something that happens and you just want to walk away, it's not personally guaranteed. They don't care. Just like the watch at the pawn shop, no problem. We'll go lend you the money on the next one because you just made us some money. If you default on your mortgage right now and you go to Chase, if it was Wells Fargo, and now you go to Chase and you just had a foreclosure a month ago, are they going to lend you more money?
No.
No way.
No.
If you have a foreclosure, can you get more money right away for cash flowing? Again, this is cash flowing assets because they know that if you default, they're going to be fine. Will you get more money the
Yes.
day after if you foreclose? And that's the
Yes.
difference. So you have a choice. You can play the credit game, which is the odds are stacked against you. They're really not in your favor. Or you can get asset-based loans and then tie up as many assets as possible and buy them. I know the next thing you're going to be thinking of is, well, where do I find assets at 30% off, Marco? That's ridiculous. No one's doing this in this market. We buy 1,500 units a year. I'm going to get there next. Before I do, any questions on this? I don't believe you. I don't care how skeptical you are. If you want to call me names and say this is impossible, let's have a conversation around it. Because if you don't understand it, you won't do it. If you don't do it, who are you hurting? You're hurting me or you're hurting yourself?
So
You're hurting yourself. The money's there. It's available. I'm an asset-based lender. I started a private equity fund last year. It's a $50 million fund. We lend constantly because we're making money on the loan and it's very low risk. Because if you don't pay, we keep the property. You've done all the work getting the property for us. Thanks. High five. Go find another. Very nice. Very nice. Do it again. We don't care what your credit is. The asset that's cash flowing is the borrower, not you. Nobody has any questions. This is the first time in history that no one has questions on this, unless I explained it better than I've ever done before.
I do.
Where do you find these banks, these asset-based lenders?
This is something that I'm going to discuss very shortly. Very shortly. I want you to understand the concept first, then I'll show you exactly how to get all this together.
You
All right? There are billions of dollars available, billions and billions of dollars available every single day. Billions of dollars. Everyone knows there's a lot of money in the marketplace right now. And if you have a choice to make 2% or 3% on your money, and things are trading at 3, 4, 5% returns with no upside. If you're in the business, like how do you make money at 3% if you're borrowing money? The returns are like exactly what the money costs. It doesn't make sense to buy it because they're just hoping it goes up in value. If I can buy it right, I can pay more for the interest. And if I have two people with money, one's getting a 3% return and the other one's getting a 6% return, and I'm going through way more money at 3 than at 6 than I'm at 3, will I get more money? If I'm paying someone double what they normally get on returns, is more money available to us as a community? Because this is really a community that I'm sharing, all right? So the more deals you do, the more money is available. If you don't use it, you lose it. But when you start using it, you got to keep that. Then the hunger starts on, because at the end of the day, these are hedge funds from Wall Street that are helping fund and backing this. There's a Chase product that's an asset-backed loan that I started because of me doing this for 22 years. We're getting 2% money over $5 million, 2% money. So when we buy a hotel at $6 million, we're paying 2% asset-based loan for 3 years. We have 3 years to refi it. So when you're getting money at 2%, it's like free money. It's like free money, but the minimum investment is $5 million on that one. So does someone have a question on asset-based loans? Other than where do I find it? We'll get there. We'll land that plane. We'll be very clear and do that.
I'm not completely clear.
You're not completely, I'm not sure who I is.
Here, me, Carol.
I don't see Carol. Where's Carol? Carol, do you have a, I feel like I'm Ray Charles looking like, where's Carol? Where's Carol?
Right here.
I don't see Carol. There's Carol. So you're not completely clear. So what is it that you're unclear on, Carol?
Whole concept.
The whole concept of asset-based lending. Do you understand values?
No, I understand asset-based lending. I just don't understand the formulas.
You understand the formula? Okay. Do you understand that if you have a $200,000 gross, what's the net?
100.
So you got that. And so what's it worth? If it has a $100,000 net, what's it worth?
$1 million.
So you got that one. And an asset-based lender will lend you 70% of whatever that value is. So what's the value of, so what's 70% of that?
700,000.
All right. You're doing better than most people that don't understand anything. You're doing really well. And so, and they're going to, if you borrow the money at 8%, 8% of 700,000 is, I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Do you understand that one?
That's what I'd be paying every year.
Every year, not every month. Well, you're not paying it. Who's paying it? The property. It's not tied to you, Carol. You don't matter. You happen to own it, but the debt belongs to the property.
The 56,000 per year.
It's 56,000 a year is the debt cost, but what are you making on this property?
100,000.
So it's 100 minus 56.
44.
Where does that go, Carol?
In my pocket.
And if you do 2 of those a year, what do you make?
88.
Is that, and you know that passive income is taxed at 15%, where you as a working person are taxed much higher than 15%. So you're paying a lot more tax as a working person than the cash flow is paying. So your cash flow is actually paying less tax, because Murphy is, if something goes wrong, it's in the formula, and the tax man or the IRS is actually taken care of because they're paid at the least tax amount because it's passive income. Also, every $1 million of property that you own, depreciation is $36,363 per million. So if you own $1 million property, the first $36,000 is going to be tax free.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nice because the tax rules have been written for the rich, not for the working person. The brunt of the economy is shouldered on the working person, and those that have money, but you don't need money. You're taking money that people have that they want to place in a risk-free environment. If you have money and you're lending money at 30% off of its value on a property, and if they don't pay, you actually make a 20+% return. How much money do you want to have go out, guys? If they keep their promise, they make 8%, and if they don't keep their promise, you make 28%. Which one's better?
28%.
If they don't keep their promise.
Exactly. If they don't keep their promise. If you don't pay, I get your deal. If you do pay, guys, are you not going to pay your mortgage if you're making $100,000 and it only costs you $56,000 to make 44? Why would you not pay the mortgage?
Exactly.
Exactly. So it's like, I just hit my head, or, the Yankees won and shit, I wish Boston did, so I'm not paying my mortgage. Right, Zach? That's how it works. All right. So, and I'm just teasing you, man. Don't get too upset. All right. So it's just good. I'm glad you can take it. All right. So I know you're from Boston. You can handle this shit. All right. So so it's just, it just makes sense. And again, the objective is not to lose the property. The objective is to understand that there's very little risk for the lender, and that's why the money is available. Because if you were to not keep your promise, they make more money. And when you're in a business environment where you do well, not having to use any of your own money, how much money do you need to have in order to do very well in this business? The answer is 0. What you need is skill. Did I lose you? Because my microphone just fell and you can still hear me?
You're good.
I'll fix it later.
You're good.
All right.
I have a quick question about timeline.
Sorry.
Question
Marco, I
on
have a question
timeline?
for you.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, if you are getting a loan right up front and then you're purchasing the home, what's the timeline looking like?
These are not homes. These are multifamilies. These are multifamilies, mobile home parks, hotels. These are assets that are cash flowing, no homes here. You're playing with the big boys and peeing on the tall grass. My battery's about to die and I'm looking for a battery here. Sorry. I'm going to have to.
So you're inquiring about a loan and then going through the closing process for this, and then you're essentially using that money for as this goes on.
Hang on a second. I'm searching for a battery here.
Sounds good.
Hang on a second. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So so you're asking, do I get pre-qualified before I do that? Well, you don't know what the property is yet. So so most people try to get pre-approved for a loan amount because that's a credit-based loan because you're approved. The property has to be approved. So you need the property first. And once you have the property, then we go through our due diligence process. Once we have our due diligence process, we go through underwriting. It takes about 10 days to get the cash. So once due diligence is done, meaning that our checks and balances on income, condition, location, all the checklists that have to go through, we close in about 10 days. So if it takes 2 weeks to go through the checks and balances, you close 10 days later. If you have money in your account that's making you no money, when do you want it out? How much money is dead money making you in your account?
None.
Correct. You want your money out. So as long as the checks and balances are there, underwriting is done and funded within 10 days. It's very fast. It's like having your own money. So having access to quick cash is why we're going to get discounts, which is what I'm going to do next. So if you understand that, okay, I can get a property funded as long as it's 30% off with none of my own money. If I do 71%, if I buy it at 71%, I got to put the extra 1% because your budget is 70% of the value of the asset. Are we clear? So if you buy it at 75, you got to put the extra 5 points in. But we don't need to do that. You can buy it less because there's plenty of opportunities in this marketplace right now to buy super great discounts. And most people don't know where to look. You just don't know where to look. So with your permission, I'll show you how to get great off-market assets right now at significant
Yeah.
discounts.
So what if you're not cash flowing yet? Like what if you have repairs that you have to do, but you know like what the comps are?
How many units are we talking about?
Well, 2 units or a single.
That's not a multifamily, that's a duplex. We're doing 3, 4, 5 to 100 units. No duplexes. So a single family, 1 mortgage, 1 tenant. Is that risky?
Yes.
Yes.
Duplex. Duplex, you got 2 tenants. One side pays the bills, the other side pays the mortgage. Where's the rest of the money?
The
No
expense.
cash flow.
Right? One side pays the bills, and the other side pays the mortgage. No money left. 3 unit is where it starts.
So what if you have a 3 unit and it needs repairs?
Okay. We can actually borrow the money for the repairs in order to get the property up to snuff. It's going to be easier to do that on 5 units plus because commercial technically starts at 5 units.
Yeah. So if so would you say then stay away from 3s and 4s that need work done?
No. We fund 3, 4s, and 5s. In fact, I'm going to be giving you an opportunity to come to a class if this is what you want to learn and get access to, where I'm going to show you absolutely everything to do to find opportunities that you create significant discounts with, which we're going to discuss in a second, tie them up, verify them. Once they're verified, we underwrite them, and then get funded very quickly to make cash flow the day that you buy it, and do it over and over and over and over again. And this 3-day is very intense. We start in the morning and we go till late at night. I even give homework, and then I grade the homework at night and shoot a video so you know what to do next. And it's very intense for me, and it's a lot of fun. Very small classes. I only take 25 people at a time. I used to be in this seminar business where I had as many people as I could in the class. Now I have a 25 person max. And I say person, it's you, your spouse, your kids, up to 4 people on 1 ticket. That's family. And you can just get the information, or you can say, Marco, I want you to help and support me until you close 1 deal. So we have 2 options, just the information, or I'll kick my ass until I get 1 done. And we'll support you until you close 1 period. It's forbidden to use any of your own money ever. It's forbidden to use your money to buy any property ever in anything that I do. No one uses their own money. All right, no one. It's done through Zoom as well. And I've been doing Zoom meetings before COVID even happened. Because most of my following is global. I don't have a lot of US people. I do here and there when I do talks like this, but most of my followers are all over the world because it's easy to get money in the US. It's easier to get discounts in the US. Getting a deal in Canada is like impossible. And there's no money in Canada.
So can I ask you a follow-up question on the if you have repairs that you have to do?
Okay.
In Massachusetts, it can take 6 months at least to even get permits. So what are you supposed to do in a situation like that? Would you just say then avoid that deal?
So are you doing a full rehab job?
Yeah. Or maybe like you need to, I don't know, like
I wouldn't touch that deal. Why am I going to, have you dealt with contractors that are like hormonal teenagers that want to get paid now, do work later, and never get the shit done? Like,
but that's why I'm asking you.
No, the answer is no, I would not do that. So I want cash flow the day that I buy it without having to go through that brain damage.
All right.
If you have 8 deals to pick from that before I ask questions, get more questions, let me just say this. The process is we do things in batches of 100. I will answer 100% of the questions, I think you promise. I just want to make sure I get through the material before Dustin says we're done. All right. Just let me do this one thing and then I'll answer your question. Let's discuss how to find first extremely motivated humans that need to sell quickly. All right. And why they want to discount and need to discount. All right. So number 1, if someone doesn't believe that you have any money, will they ever give you a discount?
No.
No.
If you talk broke, act broke, sing broke, say, I don't have any money, can you owner finance me your property? Do you think that's going to work well? Is that a good strategy? I have no money, so can you please owner finance me? I want you to entrust the biggest asset that you've ever bought to me having absolutely no money. Do you think that is strategically sound?
No.
No. If you say to someone that has $1 million property saying, listen, I'm not buying it for $1 million. I don't pay retail. In fact, I have a big sign up here. You can't even see saying retail is for suckers. We buy a ton of these things. And if you want $1 million, I'm not your buyer, but if you can come down significantly, I'll write you a check today, but not at that number. And they go down, 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 down just by saying the right things. And then they get to the right number. And there's a reason they're going to come down. It's one of the 5 Ds. Just let me get through this, and then you can ask me 1,000 questions, because then we'll be almost done. 5 Ds, 5 big reasons why people discount. Number 1 is divorce. We discussed that earlier. Divorce. Do people get divorced in this country?
All the time.
All right. And everyone thinks, well, everyone wants as much as possible, right? Everyone's driven by money. Money, 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 money. Everyone's driven by money. Everyone wants as much money as possible. Would you agree? We all want as much money as possible. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So if everyone was driven by money, why would anyone ever get divorced? Because divorce is one of the most expensive things that you're going to do in your lifetime. So why do people do it? If it's all about money and keeping as much as possible, why do people get divorced?
Because they'd rather give up all their money than stay with that person another day.
I think you've been through that. I feel like there's some angst in there that I can relate to. Why is divorce expensive? Because it's worth it. Peace of mind is worth more than money. First, let's talk about money for a second. How much money is available in the universe? How much money is available?
Limited.
So if there's an unlimited amount of money in the universe, why is there a limited amount in your bank account? Does that make any sense? Unlimited means no limits. It means all of us can have as much money as we want, which is true because the U.S. government's like money, money, money. We're printing it, right? They're just printing as much money as they can. So there is no limit. So if there's no limit to how much money we can all have, why do we fight over it every single day? Doesn't make any sense. We don't fight over the air that we have, the air that we breathe. You're breathing my air. I want it back, right? We don't do that. And there's less air than there is money. So why are we fighting over it?
Because we have a middle-class mindset. We think money is finite.
Yes, and you bought into the lie that time is money. Time is the most valuable asset that there is. I'll prove it to you. I have an extra $10 million I'd like to give somebody. Who would like $10 million right now? No shit. I'll give you $10 million. All right, Carrie, are you one of the first ones that popped up into my screen? Carrie, are you with me? Yeah, unmute yourself. I hear you. All right, so Carrie, you would like the $10 million, yes?
Yes.
All right, so here's the thing. If I gave you this $10 million, could anyone piss on your parade and tell you you're having a bad day? Would you have the best day you've ever had your whole life?
Yes.
Would you be happy about it?
Yes.
Could anyone put you in a bad mood that day? You just got $10 million. How could anyone put you in a bad mood, right?
Right.
Here's the deal. There's one catch. I'm going to give you the 10 million, but it's your last day on earth. You're done. You want it?
No, I would have to decline.
So what you're telling me is that every day that you wake up is worth at least $10 million.
Yes.
And every day that you wake up, no one should be able to make you mad or sad because that $10 million just made you happy, but you chose life over the 10 million. So why do we complain? Think about this. If money was so important, why are you so pissed off? Why are you so angry? Specifically Bostonians. Go pack the cat, right? So it's everyone's, because we think money's important until we're giving an ultimatum.
Right.
Time or money. And Carrie, time isn't with us, is it? As we get, don't you feel like you're still in your 20s and you look in the mirror, you go, holy shit, and I don't want to say that you look old. I'm not trying to say that. All right. I'm just saying time waits for no one. You still feel like you got vinegar in the veins, but the reality is as we get older, we always wish for more. What? What's the one thing we wished for the most? More time. We squander the time that we have because we think money's more important and you're chasing the money and chasing the money and chasing the money. I don't want to lose money. Guys, you don't even own the money because when you die, you can't take it with you anyway.
Right.
Money is irrelevant. It's time that matters. So you have two choices. Do something relevant now that actually saves time and makes money, or go through whatever you got to do, work for somebody else. Because guys, if you work for someone, if you don't follow your dreams, you're going to work for someone that did.
Yeah.
Right? So remember this, and it's profound. Do you want the 10 million or do you want to make the best of that day? And it's what we do with every single day that matters, not the money. and there is an unlimited amount of money. And if there are people with a lot of money that want to give money as long as there's a discount, do you want to help those wealthy people out use their money?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Right.
Guys, do you want to use your money or somebody else's money? What's better?
Someone
Somebody
else's
else's.
money.
Use someone else's money. Here are the rules, 20 to 30% off. All right, let's do it. Where do we find assets that are 30% off? Well, people that have a divorce. They want that person out of their lives. And if you think about it, who makes the most amount of money in a divorce? Is it the people that are getting divorced or the attorneys?
The
attorneys.
And they work like, let
Sloths,
me
like
go
sloths.
get that file. Because they get paid by the hour, hundreds of dollars an hour, because it serves them to have a divorce drawn out. Oh, you can't let them get away with that. That guy's an asshole. Look at all the things he did to you. Look at all the things she did to you. It's not okay. And a savvy person will understand that a discounted property to get the divorce final is better than dragging it out in attorney's fees, which is more costly. So divorce, number one. D number two, displacement. People that are being displaced. Did COVID displace anybody?
Yes.
Probably.
If you went to New York, it was a ghost town. All right. We bought the best deals in New York City at that time. The best deals. We stole property. People just didn't want it. They couldn't, the whole building left. And these guys had recently bought it, couldn't afford the tax payments. And they were like, I got to get out of this thing. I got to get out of this thing. Well, if they know I don't have any money, are they going to give me a discount? I'll say, I'll give you cash right now. Is it my cash or somebody else's cash?
Somebody else's cash.
Somebody else's cash, because I know the parameters of the money. Displacement. Someone wants to go to Los Angeles. They want to sell their property in Boston. Someone wants to go to Raleigh, North Carolina. They got to get rid of their property in Atlanta. Whatever it is, when there's displacement, when there's movement, people need the money. And if you need the money, you're going to get full price. That's the exchange. Speed for equity. We can close quickly in exchange for discount. That's the exchange. You get the money now, but you have to give a little sweetener for us. Death is the next one. Now, do you know which segment of the population has the most amount of assets?
Elderly.
Boomers.
Older people.
The boomers. All right. Somehow I got roped into the boomer category by my kids. I'm like, I'm not a boomer. What are you talking about? All right. And those that are more elderly, there's about 8,000 of the boomers that are dying every single day. 8,000 a day is a statistic. 8,000 boomers a day dying. They have the highest amount of assets. And some of these boomers, baby boomers, are like, I don't want my kids to get this. They're either drug addicts. They haven't talked to me in a while. They're spoiled little brats. They don't even call me on my birthday. I would rather die than give them my assets. And sometimes that happens. I had a guy in his 80s say, listen, if I give my kids this shit, they're going to go to Vegas, hookers, and blow. I don't want that for them. I'd rather you take care of this property. I want to do estate planning. I'll give you some sweetener. Just give me the money quickly because I don't have a lot of time left. And then he went to Vegas and did hookers and blow. It was hilarious. All right. But look, at 80 years old, you do what the hell you want. It's none of my business. So death and estate, or the person dies and the kids want to sell it for pennies on the dollar because they want just the money immediately because they don't know how to run the property and they're running it down to the ground. Okay. Death, disease is the next one. Disease. Does anyone know what the number one cause of bankruptcy is in the United States? The number one cause of bankruptcy in the United States.
Medical bills.
Medical bills.
Medical bills.
Medical.
Bills. So you work your whole life, you run yourself ragged, you get stressed or you get sick, and then you lose every penny you've made and lose your house over medical bills. Welcome to America. All right? That's just how it works. Now, some people have medical insurance. I'm going to be fine. Look, medical insurance is like a hospital gown. You only think you're covered. Okay? So just because you think you have medical insurance, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the right care, the right doctor, what you're looking for. If anyone has medical issues and you're in an HMO, well, this HMO doesn't cover that doctor, which actually is the one that actually saves people. If you want to go to that one, you got to pay. And if you need money, if you need surgery and you have $1 million building and you need 650,000 right the fuck now in order to save your life, what's more important? Holding onto the property or getting paid? Which one is it?
Getting paid.
Hey,
Are you hurting somebody? Are you taking advantage of anybody?
No.
Are you
no.
helping that person? They need the money in less than 30 days and you can deliver. Are you helping that person?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you
Yes.
making money at the same time?
Yes.
You guys, if you don't buy it, someone else will.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to buy it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, will you buy it?
Yes.
Will you?
Yes, I will.
Or are you just going to watch? You can either watch things happen or you can make things happen. That's up to you, right? If you don't learn how to do this, it'll never happen. You have to learn. There's very specific skills you have to learn. And it's not that hard. It's not that hard. The last but not least, all right, is debt. Are people in debt in this country?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
How
yeah.
about lawsuits? Are there any lawsuits in this country? Let's think about this. Lawsuits.
Oh,
Are there any
yeah.
lawsuits in the United States?
Yes.
Indeed.
94% of all lawsuits in the United States, 94% of all lawsuits in the world are in the United States. 94%. And it's because of the no loser pay rule. So I'm from Canada, and if I decide to sue Zachary for whatever reason, I bring him to court and I lose, I have to pay all his attorney fees. That's how it works. And if so, any frivolous lawsuit is kicked out. First of all, they wouldn't even accept it because they don't want to waste time in the court system, right? There's no lawsuits that don't make sense. We're here, someone goes to McDonald's. I don't know if you've ever heard this story. I go to McDonald's and I put a hot cup of coffee between my legs. Have you heard this?
Yes.
Right? Hot cup of coffee. I scald myself, all right, and I sue McDonald's for $5 million and win for drinking coffee out of the wrong hole. All right? Because it's easier to do that than it is to make money necessarily. But debt is a real thing. And if you're getting sued and you can settle, think about this. I'm being sued. They'll settle. And I could have been wrong. I could have been right. It's going to cost attorney fees. The attorney wants this down payment and that, that retainer. And it could take 2, 3, 4 years at hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I could be sued for $5, $6 million. But if I give them $650,000 next month, it's over. What are they going to do? Take the chance or take the money now and be done? What's more valuable? Peace of mind or every dollar that I can get?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind is always more valuable. So when you're thinking everyone wants as much as possible, that's not true. In fact, if you have a garage, go in your garage and there's shit in there that you probably would give away that you've paid good money for. And the more money you have, the more valuable the shit is that you don't want. And sometimes that's a 10 unit, a 20 unit, a 50 unit, or a hotel. We get packages of hotels that people just don't want anymore. We got a $5 million Holiday Inn for $900,000 because the guy wants to go back to India and he's freaking done. Just done. Thanks. I'll take it. All right. So it's just being at the right place at the right time on purpose. This is not luck. This is skill. So divorce, disease, death, all these things, these are all motivators. You guys understand that, right? If you're going through a lot of these, you understand that you need the money more, the peace of mind to get this thing out of your plate. You have something that you need the money for that you need it now. I have an operation that's going to save my life. I need the money. I don't need the property. Is that clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, how do we find these people? This is the beauty.
Public record.
Public record.
So you already know the answer. So, but you have to know where to search. So I'm from Canada. There's a Privacy Act, which means I can't find anything. You can't get foreclosure lists. You can't get divorce lists. You can't get lists at all. If I even want to know where someone lives, I can't even look on the public, like on the tax roll, who owns the house. That's sealed. Everything's private. Even who owns the house and what the taxes are. Where here, you do it on Zillow and you can figure it out. There's a website, right? Easy. So if you know where to look, is finding divorced humans that have multi-families, can that be found? Yes.
Yes.
People that are a certain age, that have a certain amount of equity in the property, that's also searchable. People that now there's a HEPA, which you can't get the actual medical issues, but there are things and behaviors that people with specific diseases have that is public record, and lawsuits is public record all the time. Judgments, public, things that are very high priority, very easy to find. And if you can find this list, if you know how to use, and by the way, how much do you think I spend on marketing on a monthly basis to get these things?
Thousands of dollars.
What's my budget?
0.
Yes. So let me say this again. It is forbidden for you to spend a nickel to buy an asset. That's including marketing. Our marketing budget is 0 every single month. You don't need to invest money in marketing. Now, if you're wholesaling, if you're buying other properties and you're going after these things, there's a large pool of people that are going after the same thing. It makes sense to do direct mail. I get it. I've done it before. 10,000, 12,000 a month. You're just, putting on or driving for dollars, looking around the neighborhood, trying to figure things out, wasting time. Or I can just pull like a surgeon exactly the list that I want in a bucket of 100. I'm only going to pull 100 at a time. I said this is a machine. Out of the 100 that I send an email to, you just run it through an email scrubber, you get their email address. All right? Emails. How much does it cost to send out an email? 0. It takes a little bit of time. So it takes about 20 minutes to pull the first list. So let's go over the time commitments that all this takes. It takes me about 20 minutes to pull the list. Whew, that's exhausting. That's phase 1. All right. I pull the list. Then I send out my opener. That's a whole 20 minutes. There's an opener. The email basically says, hey, I have some extra cash, access to some extra cash, looking to buy something right now. If you happen to have a property and need money now, please let me know. Now they have no idea how you found them. No idea. But they're stressed because of the situation they're in, and they get an email saying that, hey, if you have money. So is that going to be a fairly, oh my gosh, you answered my prayers. You must come from heaven above, right? No, we just pulled the list and it just seems like we're really cool, but we're not. We just understand your situation. Just like when you're talking to your friend about something and then suddenly you're on Instagram and the ad's there. You know what I mean? Someone's listening. So we do 100 and you have about a 36% response rate. You get 36 people that actually respond. From the 36, we send a second email. And then we get to 18, and from the 18, we get to 9. From the 9, we get to 5, and then we get to the 1 that actually is the best possible discount. From that 1, we then tie it up with an agreement. Have I seen the property, looked at the property, tasted the property, know if the property is even real? Nope, I don't care. I'm going to tie it up through email or DocuSign, an agreement, and my due diligence will start, and my due diligence will start once I have everything that I ask from them. And my earnest money deposit, the deposit that you put onto a property when you tie up a contract that's generally done upfront, is due within 17 days of my due diligence being finished. I'm going to say it again. The money that I'm going to give them and owe them to secure the contract is going to be due 17 days after due diligence. We close in 10. If I owe you for your property money to secure the property of the contract in 17 days, but I pay you in 10, how much money did I have to come out of pocket if I've already closed on the property before I owe you money?
Zero.
None.
Correct. And if the property doesn't check out, you need your 9 in order to even go see the property after 10 o'clock at night. All right. If it's in an area that is like dangerous or it's boarded up when they said it's making all this money, but it's not. It's a Russian scam where they just want you to send money to, this bank account that doesn't exist. You're never sending any money. It's never going to happen. So and I have other people on the ground that you'll have other people on the ground, management companies that are going to check it out for you that are fighting for your business. So I get, just like if I have a garage door that needs to be fixed, I call 3 garage door companies. I say, give me a quote, tell me what it's going to cost. I get 3 quotes in writing. And I always make sure that they all show up at the same time so they see the competitors are right in front of them and they're going to fight to get my business. Do the same thing with management companies. Here's a list of things I want you to do. If you go do it, I'm going to use you because I'm buying as many properties in this area as possible. They're fighting for your business. How much does it cost to have 3 companies check out your property, give you a checklist of things that need to be done so you don't have to go visit the property because maybe it's in Atlanta and you live in Boston. Correct.
I want your business.
So yes, in 1 second. I'm almost done. So one more time. Why does someone want to discount their property significantly? Well, let's start there. So where do we find these people? We pull a list.
From
How many do
where?
we pull? 100 at a time. We send them what? Direct mail or an email? How much does it cost?
Email.
All right. It takes about 20 minutes to put all this stuff together. The first time it might take you 30 minutes, but it takes about 20 minutes if you're, it's literally list, pull, done, finished. All right. 20. Then we send out an email that takes almost no time. From 100 you get 36, from 36 you get 18. How long does it take to send out, to respond to 18 people? 10 hours?
2 minutes.
Not very long, right?
Mhm.
The keywords that are there. Whoa. I don't know what that is, but it's terrifying. All right. 9. If you put your kids back in the cage. They need to eat. Right? So you go down to the 1, then you tie up an agreement. It's our own agreement. It's our agreement that protects you. It's not a state form. It is an investor contract that has clear language that you can never be sued. The property has to be checked out, and your money is not even due way after we actually close. That's how it's worded, but it doesn't look that way. The money is, you never give a penny out of your pocket ever for marketing, to tying it up, to the closing period. 0. And as soon as you have a contract to whoever was the timeline, once we have a contract and we verified income, then we start getting the money. We don't do it until we have an actual contract. And as long as it's 30% off, you're getting financed. Well, that was boring. Who has questions? So before we have questions, I'll just do the quick intro thing. So again, there are 2 paths that you can take. If this is something that you want to do, just like me buying assets risk-free, I want the same thing. So if this is something you want to try, I know you don't know me from a can of paint, all right? I want you to try it. If you love it, stick in it, all right? Stay. If you don't love it, ask for your money back on the first day of the class, 100% unconditional. Don't have to tell me why. Immediate refund, instant. I don't want your money if you don't want to be there, all right? I want to give everyone the opportunity, and if you're afraid, and most people are too chicken shit to try anything, but I want to give you the confidence that, listen, if this is not exactly as described on day 1, I will immediately give you a refund. You will never find anyone that said, Marco denied me a refund. I don't need your money. The few pennies that this course does not put, I do this at cost because I want to help and impact those that really want a way out. And this is a way to get a 3 to 5 unit. We start with small, all right? I'm not going to get, it's the bigger the asset, the more complex it is. And if you're rolling your eyes saying, I don't want to start with 3 to 5, I'm going to start with the big stuff. If you can't be in the training ring, and you want to go to, a cage fight, and you don't know how to be in a training ring, you're going to get destroyed in the cage. All right, just think of it that way. So we're going to start where you can make mistakes. It's very forgiving. You make a mistake, no big deal, and you learn the skills. Then you get weighted boxing gloves. All right, where you're unbeatable in the ring. All right, in that ring. But you have to start with the basics on how exactly what to do and how to do it. How to underwrite the deal, so the lenders, we put it in a very specific package where the lender can't say no because we give them more information that they need. All right, very specific criteria. And after doing this a long time, the more successful you guys are, the more access we have, more money we have access to. More money gets unlocked because as we start getting more and more deals, we start getting access to more and more money. That's one of the reasons we got this Chase product that's at 2%, because we had so much volume. And then when I started my private equity fund, went to the meeting, they're like, what do you do? This is how we do it. And they're like, holy shit, we're going to do a test program. We'll start with $100 million. I'm like, Jesus, that's a lot of money. And they're like, that's actually, $100 million for Chase is, that's what they use for toilet paper. I didn't realize how much money they had, but it's not a lot of money for Chase. It's like one of their smallest funds. And it's squirreled away for my community for these assets. So it's very exciting. And it's taken a long time to put all these pieces together and all these tools together in one place where anyone, and I mean anyone, doesn't matter what your credit score is, what your background is, you're not managing, we're getting the best property management teams in that local area, since we're not necessarily buying always locally. We pay them well, and we have the right structures where everyone's protected. So it's a really seamless, awesome program. And if this is something that you want to do, it's Boston Marco Rocks is the website to go to. I'm going to give a quick little bonus for the 9 first people, only the 9 first people. I know everyone, thinks they're going to be in the 9. if you're the first 9, I'm going to do a special extra class next Thursday, not this Thursday, but next Thursday. So a week from tomorrow, like we're Thursday today. So in a week, around 8 o'clock at night, and I'm going to do a closed door session with only 9 of you, and you can count. There will only be 9. All right, and I'll show you exactly how to market. I'll show you exactly what to do, and I'll show you exactly how to do it, so you can get a deal zippity quick. This is going to be turbo deal time, and I'm going to show you, mentor you, take all the time that I need to make sure you understand how to pull the list, exactly what emails to write, exactly what to say next, step. So even before you attend the class, all right, you'll have a lot of deals cooking. All right, and the classes. I have a class at the end of March, which is on Zoom, and I have a class at the end of April, which is also on Zoom. All right, so it's the last weekend of March and the last weekend of April. All right, and then the last class I'm doing until October is the last of May. I don't do classes in June, July, or August because I go to Asia or South America or somewhere. I don't do anything for 3 months. I do 0. I don't like to do anything during the summer. I like to travel with my kids. So now so again, BostonMarcoRocks.com. I think the code is already embedded in, and there's 2 paths you can take. One is, Marco, I just want the information and I'll do it myself because I have very detailed information on how to do it yourself. Or you can have someone help you every step of the way until you close a deal. There's no limit on the amount of help we will give you until you close a transaction. I don't believe in time limits because we all have our limitations, time, kids, whatever, get it? So if it takes you 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years, please don't take 3 years. I don't want to have to help you for the next 3 years. Maybe you're slow. It is what it is. If it takes you 3 years, I'll help you in 3 years. But please, most people do it in 90 days. All right. You should be able to do this in less than 90 days if you just do something. What the hell just happened? Who did? That's so weird. What are you doing? All right. Thanks for distracting everyone. All right. Well done. So questions. So again, BostonMarcoRocks.com. First 9 next week. I'm going to kick your ass, and you're going to start getting results right away. And at the first day of the class, it's not the best thing you've ever done. You're not thrilled for whatever reason. Don't like my breath, even though we're on Zoom. Say, Marco, your breath stinks. I want my money back. No problem. Here's your money. I don't need it. I don't want it. I do very well. Thank you very much. I just want you to give it a shot. If you give it a shot, you'll be very happy. If you don't, you'll regret is much worse than anything else. I know many people have. I wish I'd done this many years ago. With inflation the way it is and the way you can actually ride inflation by getting assets with only debt, you can ride inflation by having as much real estate debt as possible that makes you money every single month. All right. I know some people have some questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
My question is this. Do you qualify for asset-based lending if you have a sales and purchase agreement for a house that you purchased in an auction?
So a house is not asset-based lending worthy because the income is based on one unit with one tenant. That's a credit-based.
It's a 3-family.
All right. If it's a 3-family, then if it's a 3-family, then possibly. It depends on if you want to refinance it, you 100% can.
Can't.
Can, C-A-N.
Oh, say, okay.
Yes. And if you have, if it's tenanted, then, or it's a complicated answer to do very, very quickly, but if there's potential to make money quickly, you can borrow extra cash for the holding cost. But if the runway is too long and there's too much, if there's too much to be repaired on the property, the risk might be too high and too heavy. It just depends.
Okay.
Do you have any idea what the value of the asset is?
Like 850,000.
All right. And do you have any idea what you are into contract for?
It's supposed to be for 30 days. The closing has to take.
I get it. We can close in 10 days. I'm an asset-based lender with my own fund, so I can close it myself. I'm asking if the value of it is 850, what's the contract for?
I'm confused. What do you mean what the contract is?
So the value is 850 of the property. If you're buying it for 850, you can get 70% of 850.
Don't have a calculator in front of me. But they,
You understand that you're not going to get financed for all 850. That's too much of a risk.
yeah, I know.
So you have to buy it for 30% off at least.
Okay. I don't know.
$595. $595 would be the 70%.
Well, but you're still paying closing costs. So I'd be in the 550 so I could pull money out the day that I close. So that's the first step. And then if let's say there's $35,000 in repair costs, that's going to be CapEx that we're going to put on there to increase the value of the asset. So they're two separate, it's one loan, but we make a case for here's the value of the asset. This is what we need for this. And they're going to give you 100% of whatever the improvements are, because by improving the property, you're actually really increasing the value of the asset and you can pull a lot more money out at closing. Let me explain this, because if I just say it, you won't understand what I just said. All right. Let's say that the income rate now is $200,000 gross, and that's $100,000. All right. But it's underperforming in that they haven't raised the rents in 3 years, and there's 10 units that are still down. So the income today, not the future income, the today income net is 100,000. So if we increase the value, if we increase the tenants, are we going to make more money here to 110,000, right? We're 10% more, because we're making that more. If we're increasing the rents, maybe we get to $120,000 net. Now, if we have $120,000 net after 2 years, we optimize it over 2 years. We increase rents, we decrease expenses. If you think about it, if we just increase rents 5% and we decrease expenses 5%, which is not hard to do, that's a 10% increase in value immediately. So the average increase is 26% over a 2-year period on the assets that we buy, because a lot of these are mom and pops that have no idea how to optimize the property. Zero clue. So now we're at $120,000 of net income. What's the new value of the property, guys?
1.2.
$1.2 million. Now, when we refinance the property with another asset-based loan, you're getting around 77% on a cash out refi, 77%. What's 77% of $1.2 million? That's our take home after closing costs. 77% of $1.2 million. Can anyone tell me what that is? 77% of $1.2 million. And for those of you who have completely lost no idea,
924,000.
920,000. I'm just going to make the numbers round. All right. I know 24. I'll leave the $4,000 to charity. We started with $200,000 gross. It makes 100,000. It was underutilized. There's 10 units that were, there's a 10% optimization where some units are down. So we need to, bring them up. We just bring them up. We increase the rents, and we go from $100,000 net to $120,000 net. So the new value is 1.2. And then now on a refinance after 2 tax returns, we have 920. What do we owe, by the way? What do we buy this for? What do we owe?
$700,000.
And what did we optimize it to? 1.2, and we refied at 920. What's left?
$500,000.
$500,000. 9 minus 7, 220. That's $220,000. Where does that go?
Your pocket?
Yes. How much tax do you pay on that refinance money?
0, because it's debt.
Because it's debt. IRS, your partner's taken care of, and who's paying for this debt? Your tenants are. That's $220,000 tax-free that you pulled out of one building, that you make a cash flow on every single month. How hard do you have to work right now to make $220,000 tax-free in one place?
It's nearly impossible.
Well, it's not, because the building is now working for you. Wealthy people have assets work for them, and if you're not having assets work for you, then you're going to be in an economic path that is not going to serve you and your family for generations.
I meant as earned income. It's nearly impossible.
I agree. It is impossible. That's why I'm saying this. As earned income earners, as a W-2, it's almost impossible, because the more money you make, the more money you're taxed on. And the harder you work, the more tired you are, right? And there's a limited amount of hours that you can work in a day, and there's a limited amount of dollars per hour that you can work. And someone is telling you what to do, how to do it all the time, where in this case, can you buy 5 properties in 1 year if you wanted to, since you don't have any money involved?
Yes.
Hello? So what's stopping you?
Marco, can I ask a question?
You just did.
Huh. Are you lending in all states?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Lend in all states. Lend in all states. So what's stopping you from doing the business? What's stopping you from making passive income? What's stopping you from replacing the income that you have with passive income from tenants and buying as many as you can? And as inflation happens, you make more and more money because the value of the assets goes up and up and up. If you buy, you're paying 20% more next year for the same property. You're making 20% less by waiting a year, 30% less by waiting 3 years. The only way the U.S. is going to get out of debt is by having good inflation, and it's working. It's working.
Marco, why don't you put the website on the board?
I think it's in the chat. It's like all over the place. It's bostonmarcorocks.com. The first 9 and only 9. If you're number 10, you say, please, please, Marco, let me in the marketing class. No, only the first 9. Listen, if you look at a good deal and you wait and you wait and you wait, what will happen to that good deal?
It will disappear or get
Someone else is going to take it. So if you want good value, and guys, for the amount that I'm offering this, and the guarantee and the access, so just so you understand, you get access to how to market super awesome off-market deals, number 1. Which emails, how to communicate so people drop like a stone quickly on off-market deals that no one else is going after. How to have a contract that protects you. It's impossible to be sued because a real estate agent contract protects the agent and the seller. And you can get sued for specific performance if you don't perform. My contracts have none of that. My contracts don't even allow you to put a down payment until all the checks and balances are done. And it actually tells you exactly what to do. You get management companies that will tell you, yes, I'm in, no, I'm not. And if you have all the ducks in a row, they do a spreadsheet that you basically then give to the lender with pictures, with contractors have taken a look at this for no cost. It's all underwritten technically by the management companies that do it all for you. It's very clever. You put all that together in a nice little bow. Asset-based lender looks at it, checks the income, checks the expenses, checks condition, has a couple questions, send it back. 10 days, funded. On to the next one. Over and over and over and over and over again. How much money you make is dependent on the behavior that you do now. So if you do one, in the next 90 days, you do another one, by July, August, September, then you do another one by the end of the year. And let's say you make $20,000 on one, $30,000 on the next one, $40,000 on the next. That's already $100,000 a year passive income forever that you never have to work for. And you don't need any money to do it. You just need the skill sets in order to know how to do it. And my life's work now is to take a handful of people that really want to learn this, really show you the skill sets that are necessary. And for those that want an ass kicking, I'll show you exactly how to do it. And, those that do enroll, you're going to get we have a seller call, do it every Tuesday. We just closed today on 332 units. Can anyone guess how much we paid for 332 units in Illinois? It's a defunct nursing home. A senior nursing, skilled nursing facility. Anyone guess what we paid for 300 plus units in Illinois? Take a wild guess.
Very rewarding, I'm sure.
Just take a wild guess. The craziest number, 1.5, less.
700,000.
Less.
500,000.
Less.
300,000.
325,000. All right. So anyone that enrolls, I'm going to make sure you get that seller call. Listen to it. I just played on Tuesday. All right. We closed on this today. 325,000. I'm actually I'm the one that funded it. I'm going to go take a look at it on the weekend. It'll be posted on my social media, but it's 18,000 square feet just in one building. And then there's another building adjacent to that. It's insane. It's insane. Insane. And again, it's in this market, there's some crazy deals if you just know where to look. They were asking over $1 million for it. We got it for 325. You just have to know what to say and how to say it. I don't have any special skills. I don't have any voodoo magic. It's just, here's what you do in this case. Here's what you do next. Follow the ball, bouncing ball, and you're done. All right. And again, if it's not, you're absolutely not thrilled after day one, please ask for your money back. I don't want it, but at least give it a shot, because your skepticism is going to not serve you. It's, if you try it, don't like it, no risk. But if you don't try it, you'll never know how good it is. That's a promise. All right. First 9 get to see me on Thursday. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do and how to do it. You're going to love it.
I tried to sign up, but it would not take my card.
If there's a technical snafu, just make sure Dustin knows, or Duncan. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you that. I'm sure you've been called worse though. So Duncan or whoever the powers that be, just go on and if you have honestly been, as long as it's time stamped as to when you're trying, we'll make sure that you get in. Okay. I know there's more questions. I know someone else had a question for sure.
Where do you get your leads from? I know you said public records, but where?
So if I tell you where to get the leads, the best leads, and you don't know what to do with those leads, and those that do know what to do, you've just done something that you shouldn't have done with those leads, and they're trying to get those leads, is that serving the community that actually knows what they're doing?
No.
Correct. So I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to show you how to find them until I know you are trained on exactly what to do with them, because it's not fair to those that are in the program that are getting results for me to remove their results because you just need to know or want to know. It's taken me 22 years of a lot of mistakes. I've really messed up a lot of things. Every mistake I've made, I've had to pay for significantly for. So I'm giving you 22 years of knowledge, folding time and saying, this is the best way to do it. This is the best way to do it. This is the best way to do it. And I will tell you, if you send out 25 emails, you'll get a 30% response rate. You'll get 8 responses for every 25 emails that you send. And it works 100% of the time. Some people get 9, 10, 8 is the least you're going to get. And then you're going to see, I'm going to say, this is the results you're going to get. And you're going to try it and you're like, shit, it's exactly what I got. Exactly. Because after doing this for so long and so many test email pieces, I know exactly how everything is done. It's like almost a science at this point. It's the only way that's not going to work is if you do nothing. That's like anything else. If you do nothing, you're going to get nothing. That's just how life works. BostonMarcoRocks.com. That's it. No more questions, really, at all?
Marco, I got a question for you.
We don't have the money
Sure.
for it, and we have to just look for.
What was that, Carol? I
So
heard rumble,
if we do not have the money for it or all the money for it, then what do I do?
Just talk to Duncan and team, and they'll figure it out. If you're stretched, I want to help you. All right. It's not about the money for me. It's about a commitment. If you want to do this, I want to help you. I was homeless in 2009. I told you I lost $11 million, and I had to, all the units I had almost 200 houses on my foreclosure. If those that were in the business in 7, 8, 9, you got decimated. I got decimated. I had 200 foreclosures on my credit. I had a lot of credit-based loans. I couldn't get another loan, so I had to go into an asset-based direction. And now I'm grateful that I went through the hell, because now that lesson taught me how to thrive today. I've been where you are. I've had terrible credit. I've lived out of my car with 4 kids. I know what it is to be, and I'm not saying that that's where you are at all, Carol. I've been in really shitty situations, really shitty. I've earned where I am right now. George, can't hear you. I failed lip reading. I'm sorry.
Unmute.
Nope. He is unmuted. I don't think your microphone works.
Hey, Mark, I'm just going to just put a word in, because, you do these calls so well every single week. So I know what they're like. I mean, you're on it, you're there. And I know you care about your students, and I've been following, I've known you for forever, but you're still out there doing deals, and yeah, you're on the calls every week, driving people. So I appreciate that.
I'm very active with my student community. You'll not find someone that wants your results more than you. most people, if you start making a lot of money, they're going to, ask you to take them to the airport. They're going to ask you to move something, or they're going to ask you for money. I'm never going to ask any of those three things from you. I want you to do well, and I want you to be amazing. All right. So once again, BostonMarcoRocks.com, BostonMarcoRocks.com. And I do this because I wish I had me when I was growing up. And those that enroll, I'm going to share you my Red Sox story. It has nothing to do with Boston Red Sox, but a homeless man told me to wear Red Sox. I had a complete collapse. And after I started wearing Red Sox and coming from a place of gratitude and service, my life changed around. And I'm so glad that I hit that wall. And it was a really terrible wall. It was pretty much almost suicidal to where I am now, where I just get up in the morning and I'm grateful because it's a $10 million day. And I just want everyone to have a $10 million day. No one can get you down because you're on the path and you're not worried about money anymore because money is everywhere. And the only reason you don't have financial problems, you have behavior problems to get you more money, because all money is a result of serving other people. The more people you serve, the more money you make. So if you have a lot of tenants and you have a private equity fund or a series of private equity funds that you're able to funnel their money on the right deals, you're going to have more money than you'll ever need because you're servicing their needs to deploy their capital. And once you understand that's all it is they need to deploy money. This is what they want to use. Let's put them together and make some cash flow. It's at the essence, it's that easy. So you can do whatever you're doing or do something very slightly different that doesn't take a lot of time, and you're going to rock it. And if you try it and don't love it, I'll say it again. Bail, please get out of here. Bye. I'm happy for you. I'm grateful that you tried it. You're not going to get any grief from me. I'm delighted that you tried it because most people don't try anything. You're coming from a place of fear. And I don't know any speaker that's going to say it that many times because they're terrified of a refund. I'm not at all. In fact, I'm grateful when I get one. I want you to try it, and I want you to refund if it's not for you, because I want to help those that at least want to be helped. And if I only take 25 people in the class and one refunds, I can help 24 people instead of 25, more attention to them. You're helping the community by trying it and leaving. It's not a big deal. Not at all.
Marco, do you need to
Yes,
make your
Lisa.
purchases as an LLC or a C Corp?
I don't recommend C Corp because it can be taken, and I don't even recommend an LLC because it's owner protected. I don't not in your name. We're going to do asset protection on day 2. But if you have an LLC already, that's great. But each asset should be in its own entity, and they're entities that are sue-proof that most people don't know about, like completely sue-proof. You cannot sue them.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great stuff, Marco. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Any other questions? I'm going to be I've been here for 2 hours, so I'll do another 2. I don't care. Just if you have questions, ask me now. I know Duncan probably doesn't want me here for 2 hours, but I'm delighted to ask me anything. I'll be your bitch for a little bit longer, but after that, it's my time. No? Going once?
I got a question.
Yes.
When you were doing your numbers there with your gross numbers, your net number, it looks like you're buying everything at a 10 cap. Is that true?
No. Finding a 10 cap is like finding a unicorn. 10 caps are impossible to find right now, but you can find them in very remote areas. If I start going into how to, like Boston's a 6 right now, 6.5, 5.6? 4. All right. So if I tell you, okay, you take $100,000 divided by 0.04 and that's the value. Oh, it's a 6 cap market, do it by 0.06. Holy shit, I've already lost 90% of you. All right. If the value at a 4, so at a 4 cap, it's what, 3 million for 100,000, which if you do 100,000 divided by 0.04, what's that number? Help me out.
250,000. No, 25,000.
2.5 million.
Yeah, oh yeah, right. 2.5 million.
All right. So you're buying in Boston, you're paying for $100,000 in cash flow, you're buying it for 2.5 million. It's still 70% off of that. So whatever 70% off of that, you can get finance for. It's whatever the value is for that area.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep.
As long as it's 30% off, you're good to go. But it's way easier just to add a 0 than it is to figure out that how do you get to 2.5? I don't understand the math. Just add a 0. In the worst market, it's a 10 cap. And if you're in the middle of Mississippi, you can buy a 10 cap. You're not buying a 10 cap in Boston. That's for damn sure. Absolutely no way. It's just to show the values and simple math. Because if I make it simple and you understand simple, then we can add complex later. If I start going into, my desire is not to make myself look smarter than I am. It's to make sure you understand that if the value is this, I can get, as long as it's 30% off, I can get this, and the value increases, then I can get more money. It's that simple. Did that help? Did that help?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. All right. Because it just seemed like,
All right.
divide the one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just easier on a 10 cap than it is on a 6, a 2, a 4.5. It's like, shit, what's the value? Just
Right.
add a 0, be done with it, and then we can tweak the numbers after. If it's worth $10 million, you get $7 million. If it's worth 30 million, you get some, it's just whatever the value is, you get 30%, 70% of that, and that's it. And we can figure out how to evaluate that in details later. But that's kind of the point of what I'm trying to do.
Hey, Marco, I had a quick question for you.
Yes.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes. How can I help you?
Okay. So the program, there are two options, as you mentioned, in your program. The first option is just to have information. Second option is to be like a support until you close a deal,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
what happens after the closing deal? You're good to go, or if you want to continue.
If you want to continue, we can talk about options then. But if you did close a deal, let's say the average price is $250. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So at $250, what's 30% off $250?
It's 175.
Are you sure?
I mean, it's 75. 250.
I'm concerned. So what's 70% of 250?
250.
175.
175.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's the equity in this property that's going up in value as things are worth more and more and more? What's the
Right.
equity? How much money do you have?
75.
You have 75K. Is okay.
Yeah.
If you're just doing the minimum of $200 a unit, $200 a unit, and let's say it's a 5 unit, that's $1,000 a month times 12 months, right? That's $12,000 of
Right.
profit, right? So we're already at $87,000 for what you've paid. Is this way cheaper? What you pay, no matter what, if we say, well, you have to pay it again, would it be worth it?
It's worth it.
Don't worry about what happens next. Let's give you a tremendous amount of value for the pennies that you pay with at least $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in equity and cash flow. Just the $12,000 a year is worth more than, that's passive income that will pay for your car, your ex-wife, whatever. And
so this is going to be next Thursday, right? The training?
It's the end of the month. So it's the last weekend of March or the last weekend of April or the last weekend of May. Those are the next 3 dates.
Okay. Okay. Month, 3 days of the last month. Okay. Got it.
3 days. Yeah. And it's from 10 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. And I give you at least 2 hours of homework. So don't.
Oh, will that be a weekend flying?
It is a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, always. Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
And I work you hard. So this is not a seminar. This is a doinar. And this is how I teach. I'm going to do a section and you have to go apply it immediately. And then I'm going to grade it. And I'm saying, here's where you made a mistake. Go do it again. So every time, and you're going to apply every time you learn something. Why? You don't forget it if you apply it.
Got it. So I just want to make sure I just have a 9 to 5 job. So pretty much.
You're going to be sick on that Friday.
Okay. Okay.
I'm very sorry. You got a case of the COVID.
Perfect. That's good.
You're very welcome. Look forward to meeting you. Yep.
Thank you.
BostonMarcoRocks.com. And just, again, your entire family. If your wife, your girlfriend, don't bring your wife and your girlfriend. It's going to be weird. We don't want any drama. One or the other. All right. And then kids, if they're, as you start following me, you're going to see a lot of kids that are doing this. Frank, who's on my podcast, and also he's a student of mine from Toronto. From his kid wanted to do it, then his daughter wanted to do it, and one was 9 and the other one was 11, and they got properties. And they just did it because they were like, this looks like cool. You guys are on the internet, and as long as you can follow directions, you can do this. It's really not that complicated. The problem is ourselves. We try to talk our way out of doing something where a kid just, you say do it and they just do it and they get a result. They're like, cool, that wasn't that hard. It's not rocket science.
Got it. All right.
It's not rocket science. Yeah. Any questions, guys? Before we call this a night? Again, BostonMarcoRocks.com. Boston Marco Rocks. Don't love it. See you later. Delighted to have you try it. And if you don't try it, you're going to regret it. And you're going to hear from other people that tried it, or you won't even see them at the REIA anymore because they're making too damn much money, or they're going to be lending you money and saying, how did you get so much money? Said, I don't know. I'm not telling you.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. We're really looking forward to working with any of you that are committed to really changing your financial situation, because it's, again, you don't have a financial problem. You have a behavior problem. If you behave differently, you're going to make more money. Behave like wealthy people, make wealthy people money. Work for a living, which is very honorable. I get it. I did it myself. But if you're swapping hours for dollars, there's only so many hours you can swap and so many dollars that you can charge. But you can definitely have buildings that have tenants that pay for themselves. And as, by the way, do tenants expect rents to go up? You don't want to disappoint them.
Yes.
We don't want to disappoint them, so let's do it. And where does that money go? Where does that money go? Your pocket. It goes in your pocket. So you can either be affected by inflation or love inflation because it's making you more money. And as things get harder, remember this. It's our choice to be in a bad spot or our choice to change it. And you don't need to complain about it. You need to do something about it. And for those that are doing something about it, I can't wait to really just kick your ass until you really understand it and get it done well, because it's a really great opportunity right now. Now is always the best time. And I'm really excited to work with those. And thank you, Duncan, for having me. I hope I gave some value, and I hope you had a good time. And it wasn't too boring.
Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate you guys very much, and I look forward to a great future. It's a really good time. And if the economy's doing well, we're going to kick ass. And if the economy's doing terrible, we're going to buy as much as we can, because that's the best time to buy, is when things collapse. So I'm looking forward to that too, because it's going to happen at one point, and that's even better. So no matter what happens, we're going to be fine. Yes.
Those two different price variations, does that, you were saying that family or other co-investors with you can sit in on the class?
Well, it's not co-investors, it's family.
Okay.
So if, it's not brothers from another mother, right? So it's, if it's family, if you're swapping spit, then you're in the same family, not with your kids, because it's weird. But if you're related, then you're all together, because we support one family to get a deal, not every single person in the family to get each a deal. So if you come with a co-investor and both of you are doing the work and one of you gets a deal, the other one will get shut off because you already got your deal. Then there's the next thing that you have. If you can say, okay, Marco, I got my money's worth, I'm done. I made $80,000 on a few $1,000 investment. Thanks. And this person that might have paid half doesn't get anything. So they're going to be pissed. So
that's on both. That's on both of those, both levels.
It's one entity, one deal, either on this one or this one. Correct.
Thank you.
One access point. Correct. To share the cost is not worth it. To share, just remember, it's about on average about $80,000 of equity plus your cash flow. Do you really want to split that with someone that you don't know that well? Because generally business partners don't know each other that well. Unless you've been doing business with this person forever, that happens. Like we've had all our properties we buy together, then God bless you, come in together because you're family, technically.
Brother from the same mother.
Brother from the same mother, exactly right. All right, guys, again, one last time. All right, partners never again. No shit. No shit. All right, so yes, so BostonMarcoRocks.com. And if anyone has attended a past class that I've had, you have free attendance to return as well. So if ever you've attended one of my classes, you'll get free readmission for life. So if you do this once, you want to come back 5 years, 2 years, and what I teach now is not even close to what I taught 2-3 years ago. I recognize some of you, and I have no idea what you've done. And, if you do nothing, nothing's going to happen. But I know that if you re-engage, you're going to really like a lot of the improvements that we've made to the program. So you're all invited if you've done this before with open arms and you know how to get hold of us. So Duncan, I appreciate it as well. Everyone that's here, appreciate you. Great questions. And I just, remember that every day is a $10 million day. So don't let anyone get you down, because would you take the 10 million? and be dead tomorrow? The answer is probably no. So enjoy your day. Enjoy your life. Got one life pressure. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All righty, bye.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Marco, as always, we appreciate you so much.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you. You're
Thanks,
the
guys.
man.
I'm a man.